Yeah.
And then after each course, you have to go through a proctor.
It's like a series of probably 3, 4, 5 tests that have to be, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Whew.
I did it all online, and I only had to take one test.
Wisconsin license?
Wisconsin.
Oh, Wisconsin, that's.
Yeah, you see, the bar is very low.
Yeah, well,
I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding.
That's how we roll over there.
This is, the test is actually, you come in, they just check your pulse.
Yeah.
He's good, give him a license.
Well, maybe I will get mine then.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in trouble for all the people watching in Wisconsin. I'm gonna start getting some hate emails all of a sudden.
I'm okay with it.
Send an email. Ding, ding, ding.
Hey, well, since we have a couple new folks and folks from all over the place, let's just spend a quick second. Just say your name and kind of where you live or what areas you kind of service. We'll start with you.
I'm Cindy Hughes. I'm here in Rochester.
Very good, Mr. Brad.
Brad Engen, I'm here in Rochester as well.
Bob.
Bob Owen, here in Rochester.
Ben Collins, not Rochester. I'm in Wisconsin, Rochester.
Very good.
Steph Lydiard, and I'm from Northeast Iowa, but I service the Southeast Minnesota area more than I do Iowa.
Originally from where?
Mabel.
Mabel,
Yep.
Minnesota. That's Mabel, Minnesota, but you live where?
I live in Waukon, Iowa.
Waukon, Iowa.
Yep.
Which, if you know Decorah, it's a little bit further south of Decorah, but not that far, right? Okay, awesome. I always sometimes, in my mind, I think you live in Mabel.
I do. My heart.
Oh, okay, your heart is in Mabel, but you physically live in
I'm there
Waukon.
all the time. Pretty much live there.
That's awesome.
Well, I graduated high school in Prairie du Chien, which is.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm Caledonia too, by the way.
No kidding.
See?
So you know exactly.
Yeah, so if Kelly Meyer's watching, shout out to Caledonia.
Yeah. Kelly. Hey, Kelly.
Oh, thank you.
But thank you. The reason why we do some of that is, I mean, we've got agents everywhere and there's always referral opportunities. So just making sure you know who you're in the room with can sometimes help. So tell me a little bit about Wednesday's session. If you were here or you watched, how was that?
It was good. It was a lot of hands-on. We had us making calls and working on the database. So she was.
That's good.
Yeah, she's fired up.
She's fired up. She's fired up and she's going in about every direction, which is why I love her and why she's good to teach database. So what are some of the things that you did? She said just about everybody made some calls.
Yeah.
And that she thought that everybody set at least one appointment. Was that pretty accurate? Anybody want to share how that went?
Yes, I called someone that's been on my list and resulted in an email back and forth, an appointment for next week.
Awesome, very good. Just a potential buyer or seller, or just kind of catch up relationship building appointment?
Yeah, it's actually a company, a carpet
Oh,
cleaning
nice.
company
Okay.
that I want to partner with to offer my staging skills for a potential seller,
Awesome.
as well as if they have existing furniture that they need to edit to use refashion. So
Okay. Very strategic. Anybody else?
I got a hold of one of my past customers and met them yesterday at Osaka, and they're a translator.
Okay.
So she claims that a lot of people, the first thing they're doing when they get here is looking for a place.
Awesome.
So she got a ton of my cards and so.
Perfect.
wow.
It turns out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anybody else want to share? So, we could use your time, especially with that one. You could be a potential multiple referral source over that.
$12 lunch across.
Yeah.
Buy your lunch, so
That's awesome.
I think it'll
Put it on the business card. That's right on.
right.
Okay, so what is your takeaway on the database? How extremely important is it? I can't underscore enough, and this is why, because when I first got in the business, I was like, database, okay, we're in the 2000s, people. What is this database talk? That to me just sounds so old fashioned. But in reality, what I've realized now, being in the business for years, is your business is your database, hands down. And it's not good enough just to have a database and have it well organized and really pretty. You got to interact with it, and not just once or twice, constantly and continually, right? That's the engine. It's the lifeblood of your business, and you have to number one, you have to keep growing it, and you have to keep watering it, meaning you have to stay in touch with people and keep the relationships alive. The whole purpose of having that database is to, number one, either create relationships that you don't already have with people, then add them in your database, or number two, maintain, strengthen, or deepen the relationships of the people that you already have, or the relationships you have with the people already in your database, right? How many of you can think of, a ton of people that you know or you kind of knew fairly well that you interacted with on a regular basis at some point in your life, but now you really, can't remember the last time you talked to them, right? well, they should be in your database, and you should do something to maintain that relationship, even if the bare minimum is a phone call every once in a while. And today, what's nice is we're going to go through some actual scripts, and I'll give you some additional scripts that you can utilize to make those phone calls, right, for just about any situation, which, you know, can, number one, be used to ask them for business, or just as a, hey, keep me in mind if you come across people, a referral type of a script, okay? What else about the class on Wednesday in your database? Anybody have any lingering questions, any aha moments, any good feedback that change your perspective about the database?
I realize that I'm
Okay.
it's just, I have to do it.
Sure.
Just because all these people that I'm calling all bought from me.
Yeah.
And I call, hey, by the way, I'm now in real estate, you wanna buy from me again, kind of thing, where I'd rather say, hey, you know, you guys all bought from me, I'm gonna have customer appreciation, or whatever. So then I got a hold of, the lender I've been working with, and he's got a paper app.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
So now,
Awesome.
I can kind of open up to, you know, different things. I've been thinking maybe like a morning coffee,
Absolutely.
pay for everybody's coffee and have them stop by. That way they can leave right away
Right.
if they want to and not stick around. People are telling me at these events, people sometimes don't want to stick around too long, and they think they're gonna come.
Sold something.
Yeah.
Like it's a
they're not
time, it's a
gonna come.
timeshare trick.
Yeah. So I've been kicking around either like a Mr. Pizza 5 to 8 evening.
If you do something at Mr. Pizza, I better be one of the invites.
Oh, yeah. Just one. Or a morning coffee thing.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out, but now that I have someone sharing the expense,
Absolutely.
kind of make it a little bit better.
You'll find no shortage of insurance folks or lenders that don't mind partnering with you on events, right? Because it's mutually beneficial. And whatever it takes, you know, if it's an event, whatever it takes to get in front of people, just to establish, maintain, deepen, or strengthen that relationship, that's what it's all about. And then while you're there, Brad, I'll give you one or two scripts you can utilize as you talk with people, right? Today, I want to introduce a lot of great scripts for you. So if you've got questions or like, Zach, what would you say in this scenario? Or hey, somebody once asked me this, or I had this objection once before. What would you say? Let me know. We'll power through. Because I'm all about scripts. So we'll talk about some of that today. How is the daily 10-4 coming? Quick, first remind me, what is the daily 10-4? It's not a call that you have that semi-truckers use all the time. 10-4. No. What's your daily 10-4 at Ignite? What does that mean?
Yeah,
10 cards.
Say again?
10 cards.
10 cards,
10 calls.
10 calls, 10 people added to your database. And if you have time, or if you're not just actively showing buyers properties, 10 previews. 10 previews. The first three, in my humble opinion, are the most important. Make calls, do your handwritten letters or whatever, and add 10 people to your database daily. And then if you can squeeze in 10 previews or some previews, do it, because that's going to increase your knowledge of the market. Or if you're already out showing properties to people, that kind of counts as your previews, right? You can't do 10, do 3, do 5, I don't care. Do something, get out and see some of those properties. Any success stories from doing the daily 10-4? What do you got?
Well, I set up a business webpage or page on my Facebook.
Okay.
Reached out to family and everyone.
Awesome.
So I had a cousin call me, his neighbors, selling his house, and so maybe have a listing. So that's.
Perfect. Perfect. Have you talked to Sue? She going to help you with that at all?
Yeah, I talked to Sue.
Okay, if
It's
you
a
have
little
questions, let us
premature,
know.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Sue is hands-on, so.
That's a perfect example of what we're looking for. By doing the daily 10-4, it forces you to just make 10 connections, and you never know what it's going to lead to, right? You reach out to somebody, oh, by the way, you just happen to time it perfectly. They know of a neighbor that's getting ready to sell a property. All of a sudden, you've got a pretty decent prospect, right? Doing the daily 10-4 might make you a few $1,000 in the listing commission just because you happen to do your 10 contacts that day, right? So that's why we harp on just making contacts every day. Just make your contacts every day, because you'll uncover stuff like that if you do it religiously. Anything else from the 10-4? Are we finding it difficult? Are we finding any struggles with it? I see your head nodding. Tell me about that.
Again, back to my event, I gotta have something, I don't want to pick up the phone and call somebody unless I'll feel a lot better once I'm like, hey, you know, you guys, you helped me out, I'm gonna pay you back kind of thing, and then I'm gonna burn through calls like crazy. The calls I've been making, but not as good as I'd like.
Okay.
A little bit tongue-tied after a while.
Okay,
You know,
sure.
I'm in real estate now, and then they're like, okay, great, how are things going for you? Going great, okay.
Where do I go from here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that changed everything.
I think we'll cover some stuff that'll help you, specifically, Brad. Okay, let's go to page 9. speaking of scripts, let's dive into some of them, okay? So I'm gonna go through some of these scripts. I'm gonna read them. I'm gonna make suggestions, tweaks, and stuff like that. First off, on a bunch of the scripts that we're gonna go through in today's session, you'll notice there's a portion that talks about giving people your app. Here's my app, blah, 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 blah. My opinion is, if I'm making a phone call to somebody the first time, I'm probably not going to segue into or try to get my app into the conversation. All right. If you want to do that, awesome. Go for it. But I have highlighted, I kind of X that portion out. Right. And what I would rather do is when I get them in for a consultation or something like that, introduce the app to them then and show them exactly how to put it on their phone or put it on their phone for them. So just keep that caveat in the back of your mind as I work through some of these scripts. So, review of some scripts from sessions 1 and 2, starting at the top of page 9. Hi, my name is Zach with Keller Williams. Your name was given to me by a close friend of ours, so-and-so, and they said I should give you a call. Is now a good time to talk? You have just a couple minutes. Excellent. They said that you were thinking about buying a house in the near future, asked if I'd please give you a call. They and I both want to make sure that you're in great hands and you have the very best, so that's why I'm calling. So, here's what I'll say about scripts. If that's you, use it verbatim. If you need to make some subtle tweaks to it or something so it comes more naturally or sounds more naturally or more genuine or sincere, feel free to do so, right? Make it yours, but use these as a great baseline for what, kind of how you should be approaching that conversation and really some of the questions that you're asking to ultimately lead to an appointment, right? So when somebody makes that phone call to me, it might sound a little bit differently. So Bob, I'm going to call you because Cindy, she gave me your name and said you might be looking to do something, all right? So we're going to role play a little. So I'm going to say, ring, ring. Oh, hey, Bob, this is Zach over at Keller Williams. How are you?
Doing good, how about you?
I'm doing well, thanks very much. Say, a mutual friend of ours, Cindy Hughes, she gave me your name and said that you might be looking to buy a house in the near future. Is that right?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Well, Bob, I'm a real estate agent, and I would love to help you out if you're open to it.
Sure.
Awesome. What is it that you're looking for? Just make something up.
Townhome.
Okay. Townhome in Rochester?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Do you kind of already have a price in mind or a budget that you'd like to stay at or below?
Anything under 200.
Okay, awesome. Well, Bob, here's what I'd love to do. I'd love to offer you a free, no obligation, no hassle consultation. Come on into the office. I'll answer your questions about home buying, explain to you what the process is like, talk a little bit about the market, and help you formulate a game plan that will allow you to be successful. Would that be helpful for you? Awesome. Come on down. Then we schedule the appointment, right? So that's that's my version of this script, right? I like to ask a couple of questions that get them to kind of tell me what they're looking for, because number one, now I've got a good idea of what it is he's looking for, and number two, that's some rapport building, right? That's not me talking and doing all this. It's him getting a chance to do a lot of the talking, which is what I want, right? And then once they feel like they've given me some information and we've built some rapport, that's when I segue into an item of value, really, which is a consultation, and then I set it in the appointment. By the way, that script I utilize, I use in pretty much every scenario and every situation, and I'll tell you about that more as the day goes on. But I'll repeat that last portion again, because when you offer that to somebody, especially in Minnesota, so this doesn't apply to our Iowan and our resident Wisconsin person, but in Minnesota, we have something called Minnesota Nice. Just kidding, me too. But when you ask a question that way, it's very hard for them to say no, right? It's very hard to say no. So let me redo that portion of the question. Ask them a couple things. We built some rapport. This one, it's much easier too, because this was a warm lead, right? It was referred. So here's the deal, Bob. Here's what I'd love to offer you. I'd love to have you come into the office. We do a free, no hassle, no obligation consultation. I'll educate you about the home buying process, answer any questions that you might have, give you a quick market update, and help you formulate a game plan that will allow you to be successful. Would that be helpful for you?
Yes.
I mean, can you really say no to that question? You can't. I mean, you could, and if you do, that means you're probably a jerk. I don't want to work with you anyway, right? But if I literally say, we'll do all these things, and would that be helpful? Well, yeah, it doesn't mean that I'm not asking you, would you like to do it? I'm asking you if it would be helpful. Well, yeah, it would. Great. And then you move into setting the appointment. Awesome, I'm available this time, this day. Or, great, what's your availability like? Blah, 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 blah. You schedule the appointment, get their contact information, their email address, and this is how I do that. Hey, Bob, great. What's a good email address for you so I can send you a confirmation and the address of my office? It's too easy to give them a reason why you're asking for that email address. And they'll email it to them, and now I've got multiple means of communication with them.
Do you send a reminder 2 or 3 days before then?
Yeah, so usually, I mean, hopefully I'm setting the appointment the next day or two. So I'll send out a quick email that says, hey, Bob, it was great talking to you today. Just, sending out the reminder about our appointment at 2 p.m. this day, blah, 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 blah. Here's the office address. Now, if it's a few days out, or if it's like in the afternoon or evening, they will get another email that day saying, hey, yeah, looking forward to meeting us today. I don't give them a chance to opt out. I don't say, hey, Ben, just checking to see if we're still on for the, later today, because what are they going to do? You just gave me an easy out, right? No, it's, hey, Ben, really looking forward to seeing you this afternoon at 2 o'clock, blah, 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 blah. Have a great rest of the day. See you soon. You're going to ask something or say something.
No, I mean, the part where you say no hassle, no obligation, that part kind of freaks me out.
Why?
It sounds like a commercial.
Okay, that's fine. And
I agree with her. I just thought.
I used to do scripting.
Sure.
Because I used to do cold calls.
Mhm.
And that part right there, like, is like,
yeah, but then tweak
am I
it.
gonna get charged later?
Right, then tweak it or change it, whatever works for you. The reason why I started putting it in there is people were not coming because they thought that they were going to be obligated if they did come, so they wouldn't take me up on it. And I usually say no obligation. I don't always say no hassle, right? So you can remove that part. Just say come on in for, it's a no obligation consultation, right? Because what I'm doing is I'm removing one of their objections right off the bat before they have even a chance to say, well, I'm not ready to commit to anyone. Awesome, this is a no obligation consultation. It's just purely educational, right? So if that doesn't jive with you, pull it out, tweak it. You will not offend me.
No.
I know that's probably not going to work with the folks in Iowa, so we got to change it up a little bit. Right?
Well,
Consultation's a big word.
It is. Well, and it's an important word because that's what I want it to be. I want it to be a consultation.
See, like last night I just had a showing, and this guy that was looking at the house, him and his wife, he's like, I don't want to cut you out. He goes, but is there a way that we can get around you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, for what? You don't pay
Wait a
for
minute, I just got to pause and digest that real quick. We don't want to cut you out, but can we get around you?
Yeah. I'm like,
We don't want to
Why?
pay you, but we want to waste
you
your time.
don't
Right.
owe me anything. I said, it's free for you to buy a place.
Right.
I said, this is what you're paying to buy it.
Right,
You know?
and Steph, that's why I'm so religious about the consultation. One of these sessions, I can't remember which one off the top of my head. If you look at your little calendar of all the sessions, one of them is specifically on working with buyers. It is session number 7. That's going to be crucial. I'll share with you and go through my buyer consultation, exactly what it looks like. And I'll probably talk a little bit more about that because a lot of my scripts are driven to that appointment. But yeah, you won't offend me, tweak it to however you like to, but that no obligation consultation, that's been a go-to for me because when I say you're not obligated to anything, it just people are like, oh, well, okay, if it's not a timeshare thing where they're gonna try to come obligate me to something, cool, I'll show up. And yes, the word consultation is used purposefully because it's a consult, and I want people to know that much like when they visit when you go to hire an attorney or you go to the doctor's office or the dentist's office, how does that typically play out? What happens? You call, you set an appointment for some sort of consultation, and where do you go? You go to that professional's office. You check in, you hang out in the waiting room until they're available to meet with you. Yeah,
Every
right.
time.
And then you have a consultation with them, right? And set expectations, and maybe there's a little bit of education. You answer some questions, and you decide: are we going to work together, or are you going to hire it? Right? I want to go that route from day one, so that I haven't gone on 6 showings, and somebody asks me, hey, how do I cut you out of the deal?
Sure.
You know what I mean? From day one, we've already gone through the buyer rep contract, and then I'm going to ask them if they're comfortable signing it there, right? So that's the approach I've taken up. I've used that approach because I've been burned in the past. I'll share that story with you in session 7 because I still remember the lady. She's no longer with us. No, I'm just kidding. But I remember that, and somebody taught me how to mitigate against that. So that's why I take the approach that I do.
You had a consultation with your dentist?
Well, I'm sure at some point when I was a child, maybe, I don't know. But when you go in for
Obviously with a lawyer. Or
right, what I'm getting at is when you need to make a dentist appointment, what do you do?
I just call my dentist.
do you just show up and expect service now? No, and that's what we do as realtors. Somebody calls and we say, let me drop everything and show you a home. I don't even know you. I don't know if you're pre-approved, anything, right? What does your dentist do? You call, you talk to somebody, you work around his schedule, right? We've got availability, this week, this day, this time. Does that work for you? Great, let's schedule an appointment. By the way, do you have insurance? AKA, are you pre-approved? Come on down, fill out a questionnaire. We're gonna need some information about you, and then we'll take care of you. And oh, by the way, usually what happens is the dental hygienist, they do all the work, let's be honest. They do everything. The dentist comes by, he's like, Zach, you look good, awesome. You need anything? Great. Okay, get out of here, right? Or what else would the dentist do if you needed some work? They'd come in and say, Bob, here's the deal. We see this, this, and this. We've got a couple options. We can do it this way, which is going to cost you $1 million, or we can do it this way, which is a little bit less expensive, but it'll still get taken care of. Or, we can kind of continue to put it off and just monitor it. What are they doing right there? They're consulting you. That's the consultation. They're giving you options, and you can decide what it is that you want to do. Or they might refer you to another specialist, right? It's the principle and the mechanics are very, very similar. We just have to do a better job of reminding ourselves that that's the approach we need to take, and that's the expectation we need to set with the general public. Because right now, does the general public view it that way when it comes to realtors? I would say on the whole, no. Why? Because we've allowed that to happen based on, as a whole, how we agents interact with the general public. Right? On the whole, if you call an agent, you want to see a property, they're not going to ask you too many questions, and they'll go show it to you. And the follow-up's probably going to be pretty poor, right? Versus those of us that choose to use the consultative approach, we say, great, here's the deal. What I'm really telling you is I'm a professional. I manage my schedule. If you want to come in, let's meet, and we'll decide. I'll kind of decide, too, if you're going to be worth my time.
You're asking questions to kind of qualify them, make them feel like you're going to do everything for them, but you're also saying, I won't work.
Absolutely.
After all those questions, and we're not have to qualify.
Absolutely. And Brad, what it allows me to do more than anything is prioritize based on their motivation and their ability. Now, what I want to make very clear to everybody in the room, and if you're watching this, if you know me, and you know me fairly well, I'm a nice guy. So I'm not looking at people and saying, Steph, you're unqualified. We're not going to be able to do this because I don't care about you. No, not at all. What I'm saying is as a business, I'm prioritizing who needs my focus now based on their needs and their circumstances, and then who kind of needs to be put on a back burner for a more long-term follow-up plan because we need to do some work to get them. I'm doing exactly what I promised. I'm helping you formulate that game plan. The game plan for you is going to be different from yours and from yours and from yours and from yours based on what your needs are, what you're looking to do, what your timeline is, what your motivation is, what your circumstances are, your ability to get pre-approved, etc. Right? So what I really need is information from you during the consultation to kind of help formulate that game plan, right? Both for me and for you. So that's the whole reason why it's approached that way. And oh, by the way, I used to think when somebody first introduced this notion to me at the previous company I was with, this was a foreign concept, right? No, I had never heard anybody talk about this. Just didn't even know that, hey, you should probably have a consultation first, right? Listing appointment, yep, that makes sense, right? You go to a listing appointment, that is what it is. But with buyers, I always thought you just started showing them homes. No, that's not the case. I mean, you can do it that way, no judgment, but have the consultation, right? And the takeaway that I always thought that would cost me business, or I would freak people out by having them do that and then going over paperwork with them day one, complete strangers. They'd be like, who is this guy? No way. But here's what I learned, and I learned this recently. My wife, Carly, we do consultations. So she did a consultation with somebody, and they'd already been out on showings with the realtor. And so we asked, are you under contract? You committed? No. And by the time we were done, this couple said, we want to work with you guys because you did the consultation. And the other agent didn't. You guys took the time to sit down with us, hear what we're looking for, answer questions, and help us. We're walking out of here knowing what to do next and what to expect. So that was a huge aha for me. It went from me thinking this is going to cost me business to help me realize, no, this is what's getting me business. This is what's getting me commitment and loyalty from complete strangers who otherwise I would know. We're going to invest a bunch of time and money. Hopefully they pan out. No, we've got on the front end a signed buyer rep contract. We've got commitment. We've got loyalty. We know this is going to lead to business. we're investing our time wisely now. And they feel way more confident in our abilities because we've just taken the time to demonstrate everything that we're going to do and had a moment to talk about our experience and things like that. Does that make sense? That was a huge a moment of awakening for me, was when somebody said to us, no, the reason we're hiring you is because you did the consultation. I was like, oh my gosh, that's the complete opposite of what my drunk monkey was telling me about a consultation. Anything else on that? Good discussion. I love those questions. Okay, so other than my script is terrible, what else do we do? I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Just teasing. Okay, so you take the first portion of that script. That's a good idea of what we're trying to say. Hey, so-and-so referred me to you. Do you have a couple minutes just to chat? Awesome. I'd love to help you out. Boom. How can I set some sort of consultation with you? This one's a little bit more wordy and lengthy than how I approach it. So again, this is just a great example. So if they're buying, you might ask them, great, have you seen any homes that you like so far? Awesome. What are their addresses? Are you working with another agent, right? And if they say yes, what do you do, Steph?
Yes, what they have to say.
You hang up on them? I'm just joking. I'm just joking. So let's role play it a little bit, Steph. You're calling me, and I'm the person, and you just asked me that question. Okay, so let's try it.
Okay, so are you working with an agent currently?
Well, you know, I've been on a few showings with another realtor.
Okay. So have you done any signed paperwork with them, put in any offers?
You know, I honestly don't recall if we've done any paperwork. To be honest with that, I don't think we have. I think we've just kind of done some showings.
Okay. Then I feel like it's safe to proceed. And I just want to make you aware that if you have a signed contract with another agent, then we are obligated to share any kind of commission if you were to put in an offer and actually follow through with the closing. They would be obligated with some of that.
Okay. Sounds good.
I always explain that
That's good.
because they don't know that.
Yeah. So let's pump the brakes there because you're doing the right thing. But I think what often happens, and thanks for role playing with that, put you on the spot there. I think what often happens is we switch to realtor speak quite often when we're talking with the general public or we're talking with consumers, and sometimes they don't know what the heck we're talking about, right? Or they don't really understand. We take for granted that we have such a clear understanding of the process. Like when people it always cracks me up a little bit when they talk about listings with the general public. Like, oh yeah, something listing. I don't know what that means. What is that? What is a listing in layman's terms? A home for sale. So when you're talking to the general public and consumers, call it that. Hey, I can send you a list of homes for sale. Or every time a home gets listed for sale, I can send it to you. Versus, oh, anytime a listing comes on the market or anytime listings this, listings that, just remind yourselves, we know what listings are. That's common knowledge for us, common terminology. And some of the general public does, but most often people, but they won't sometimes tell you because they don't want to look stupid. Like, I don't know what this person said they have a list. Am I on a naughty list? I don't know what's going on here, right? And when we're talking to them about, do you have another agent? Usually what I ask is this. My first question is kind of sneaky. How have you been finding out about homes? Or how are you getting information about the properties? What do you think is the most common answer? Online. But if they want to be Minnesota nice and they don't want to tell you, no, I don't want to work with you, and you ask them, do you have an agent? Even if they don't have one, what do you think they're going to tell you? Yes, why, Brad?
Because they don't want you to say, I want you to.
Exactly, because they're trying to say something. Oh yeah, I've already got an agent. That's a nice way of saying, I don't want to work with you. Don't ask me those questions, right? It's the same reason why anytime you walk into some sort of clothing store at the mall and you know you want to buy something and someone comes up to you and says, hi there, can we help you in any way? No, get away from me, right? That's our reaction. They're trying to help you, but for whatever reason, we're like, no, I don't need your help. Get away from me. And then if you're like me, you spend 30 minutes walking around the grocery store trying to look for dehydrated milk. I had to text my wife, is this a joke? Does this thing really exist? I've been searching for this for 45 minutes. You know, they're trying to politely tell you, but no, they'll just say, no, I've already got an agent, when in reality they don't. So if I ask them that question, how are you finding homes? And they say the internet, what do I know? You probably don't have it. Or if they tell me, hey, I've got an agent who's sending me listings, so what do I know? They probably truthfully do, right? So here's the follow-up question. If they say that, well, you know, I've got an agent we've been working with, we've seen some homes, and they're sending me properties. I say, awesome. Are you committed to that agent?
Very happy with
Yeah, absolutely. Are you committed to that agent? I'm not asking, hey, do you have a signed agreement with them? Because that would just, I think that would kind of put me on edge a little bit. Well, who are you, right? What do you mean, do I have a signed agreement? Are you committed to it? Are you committed to that agent? And 9 times out of 10, what do you think the answer is? I'll tell you what the answer is. Well, not really. They've just been showing us homes. Awesome. Have they taken the time to have a consultation with you, answer your questions, explain to you the home buying process, and kind of help you formulate a game plan? Well, no, not really. Okay, excellent. Well, that's my approach to real estate. And what I'd love to offer you is just that. You can come on in for a no obligation consultation. I'll answer all your questions and help you formulate a game plan that will allow you to be successful. Would that be helpful for you? Yes. Great. Come on down. The couple I told you about earlier, that was the exact situation. I actually got that phone call. Somehow they called my number, and I think it was later in the evening. I was at home with Carly, and so I said, yeah, you know, blah 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 blah. I think they may have made mention of another agent, but I just used the script anyway. Would you like to come in? Sure. And sure enough, they said, well, hey, we like that you guys did this consultation, so yeah, we want to work with you. Forget about this agent that's been doing his showings.
Are you burning that other agent?
They burn themselves.
Why would they be showing them without a contract?
Exactly, Brad. But here's the deal: with how many of us have shown clients properties without having a buyer rep contract signed? Absolutely. Steph, have you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have. Many times, early in my career, a lot, because I just didn't know. And how many times do you think I got burned? Quite a few, because there was no loyalty, there was no commitment between me and that person, right? That other agent, they're showing them properties and they're doing this. I hope they'll work with me. I hope they'll work with me. When it comes time to make an offer, I really hope that I'm the one. Hope is not a strategy, people.
Can you do an offer, write an offer without having it?
You can. You can write up an offer without having a buyer rep agreement. I would not recommend it.
No, I'm just saying, some of these people, they probably don't know what the heck they're saying.
Exactly.
And so they say, no, we're not committed, then you work with them, and then you find out they are committed, so then you're in this little.
Sure, and during that consult.
Because they've already got a contract.
No, not necessarily.
Oh.
This is a tricky thing. How do you earn your commission on the buy side? What entitles you to compensation? This is gonna blow your mind. They don't teach you this in real estate school.
Finding a qualified buyer.
What specifically? First off, when you do a purchase agreement and you come to terms on a property, where in there does it ever say how much you as a buyer agent is getting paid?
Look at the. You mean
A
like someone else has,
compensation disclosure?
right, but
Yeah.
are you
Where
you the listing agent or no?
as the buyer's agent, is there any piece of paper that you sign and the seller sign that say we are paying you X amount? Never happens. How do you even know how much you're going to get paid?
MLS.
Say it again.
The MLS.
The MLS advertises what the buyer agent compensation is, right? But that's just an understanding. You never physically sign a document with the sellers that says, Brad, we're going to pay you X amount because you brought this buyer. Instead, we sign a buyer rep agreement which says what?
I didn't know that. So it's all on the listing side?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Huh? The buyer rep says this, you, the buyers, are agreeing to compensate me, your buyer's agent, X amount, which, oh, by the way, can be overridden if I receive compensation from the seller. Read the contract carefully. Essentially, it says basically this: Ben, you as a buyer, you're agreeing to pay me X amount of compensation, unless I receive that compensation from the seller, in which case it trumps your obligation to me. Now, the way that you fill out that form, like the way I fill it out, it literally says they owe me nothing. Even if the seller did not pay me a dime, my buyers wouldn't owe me anything because that's not how I do business, right? But we get paid, as a buyer's agent, you get paid by the seller, right? But here's the deal. that buyer rep contract has nothing to do with you getting compensated. And here's why I say this, because a lot of people think that if I get somebody under a buyer rep agreement and they buy a home, that entitles me to get paid. Raise your hand if you think that's how it works. Not at all. Yeah, well, I kind of made some of you think, well, I thought that's how it works, so I'm not going to raise my hand. That's not how it works. That's not how it works at all. So let me give you an example. Bob, you and I, and most times, when do you think the buyer rep agreement finally actually gets signed? If at all?
I don't know.
When we sit down to write a purchase agreement. That's when, so we might have been working together for 3 months. And now we're making an offer. And now it's the first time I'm asking you to, hey, can I represent you? That's usually how it works.
Why would you do that?
Great question, right? But here's what I'll tell you. Sometimes it happens that fast, right? But other times, usually you have a meeting, you sign a buyer rep, right? And later on, when you find the right house, you do the purchase agreement, right? It shouldn't be both at the same time in theory. And as a matter of fact, what the Commerce Department will do sometimes, if you get yourself into trouble, is they'll pull all your files and they'll look to see, when are you signing your buyer rep contracts? Are they always dated the same day as a purchase agreement? Because that's suspicious, right? There's a notion out there, you might want to write this down, spend some time Googling it. The term is procuring cause. Procuring cause. That's a National Association of Realtors kind of deal. So Bob calls me, finds my number online somewhere, says, hey, my name's Bob. There's this property here. I'd like to see it. And I say, great, Bob, I'd love to show it to you. I show him the property. And, you know, he kind of likes it. So we put it in an offer. We sign a buyer rep agreement as a result. Put it in an offer, but it goes into multiples and we lose out. Doesn't get the property. But I've got a buyer rep agreement signed with him, right? You and I just signed a buyer rep agreement. But here's the deal. I'm a lazy agent. It didn't work out. So I'm kind of like, oh, well, I'm not going to pay that much attention to Bob. That one didn't pan out. That is what it is, right? So later on, Bob finds another home. He calls. He happens to get a hold of Brad. Says, Brad, would you show me the property? Brad says, absolutely. Just because he happened to find your number somehow, calls you up. Maybe you met him at an open house. You gave him his card, and he had his card handy, and he called you. Let's say you guys do an actual consultation. He signed the buyer rep with you. Or let's say that you were at an open house. You knew of another house just down the block, so you went and showed him the home right afterward. He liked it, and you put an offer together and submitted it, right? He closes on that property because the offer is accepted. Who gets paid?
You're still entitled to your play.
Am I?
Well, it depends on what the contract says. You're under contract. So
It depends on how the contract's filled out. Yeah, that's true. But am I automatically entitled to a commission? No, because of a notion called procuring cause. The notion procuring cause says this. Whatever agent is the agent that helped cause that person that procured that buyer for the property, that is the agent that's entitled to compensation. So in this case, who procured the buyer for the property that he closed on? Brad did. Even if Brad didn't have a buyer rep contract signed at all, he's still entitled to that commission.
what does that contract, what does it do for you?
It protects you depending on how you have it filled out. So what could happen is, let's just say Bob is kind of a shady dude. Let's use your instance actually, where the person says, how can I get around you, right? So oftentimes we'll have that consult, we'll sign the buyer rep agreement, and it basically says, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I'm entitled, you're gonna pay me X amount, right? Or if I get paid or compensated by the seller, it wipes out your obligation to me, right? Well, if I spend 6 months showing buyers a property, I've got them under contract, and then I show them a home, and they think, well, here's the deal. They go home later, here's the deal. I think we can get a better deal. Let's go back and knock on the door. Let's talk to the owner directly and see if we can't negotiate something. And maybe they'll let us buy it for a little bit less since they won't have to pay Steph anymore. Well, how do you feel about that as the agent?
100%.
Yeah, and who procured the buyer for that property? You did. You showed it to them. Now they're trying to cut you out of the deal, right? So the buyer rep contract exists to protect you as the agent in that instance. Because what you could do is come back and say, hey, no, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, we've got a contract that says you're entitled to pay me X amount of compensation. And because I showed you that property, you can't go around me. And if you do, you have to pay me the commission, right? But here's the goofy thing: in order to enforce that, what do you have to do? If they don't just say, okay, we'll pay you, what do you have to do? You got to sue someone. What's the average commission? Let's call it $5,000 or $6,000. You gonna sue somebody over $5,000 or $6,000? Huh? You might. Absolutely. I don't know.
It's worth the money, but if you want your reputation out there as an agent, go around to it.
That's true
So it's
too.
kind of-
I always ask myself, is it worth the time, effort, and money?
But if you don't sue them, then next year,
Is it an $80,000 house or a $1.5
How
million?
much time are you gonna spend suing them? How much time are you gonna spend on that rather than getting?
There's no right or wrong answer. It's kind of your opinion, right? And some commissions might be 10, 15, 20 grand. You might say, well, you better believe I'm going to sue somebody, right? One commission might be, well, we're looking at like $2,500. I'm not going to sue somebody. I don't know, probably it might cost me more to sue them. By the way, if you win in a lawsuit,
Get a judgment.
what does that mean?
Get a judgment, that's just a.
You still kind of have to
court
cross your
thing,
fingers
no
that you're
problem.
going to get your money. It's my understanding. I don't know. I haven't sued anybody or been sued, knock on wood. But the way these contracts are formed is a lot of stuff is not automatic. And if you, at the end of the day, want to enforce them,
Is something to the Realtors Association that helps with some of this?
no, because the Realtor Association it's not a governing authority. It's not a part of the executive branch. It doesn't have the kind of power to force somebody to do something. Ultimately, you'd have to take it to court. Now, you probably have a pretty darn good case, right? And if you do win, then you run into the
So,
obstacle. Yeah, the obstacle. Okay, well, how do we make sure that happens? Blah 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 blah. Right. So at the end of the day, I would write down procuring cause. I'd Google it a little bit, read it, and just know and understand that you have to be the person that procures that buyer for a particular property to make sure that you are the person entitled to that commission. Right. Now, what do you got?
And then with the buyer rep agreement as well,
That can strengthen your case for procuring cause, certainly.
and then how does it work with the for sale by owner?
Exactly. Do you have a more specific question there?
So you're working with the
Oh,
buyer.
yep,
You have to, you're involved with the buyer rep agreement, and then you explain to them that it should see for sale by owner to let
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And you
Right.
can contact them and make an.
So the question, for those of you that couldn't hear, that are watching this recorded, says, how do we handle as a buyer's agent commission when our clients find it for sale by owner? Most for sale by owners will pay a buyer agent commission because they're still saving approximately how much? 3%. They're still saving half, right? A lot of for sale by owners are savvy enough to know that they've got to pay the buyer's agent. And oh, by the way, what's the added benefit to them doing that? They're going to take care of the paperwork anyway, right? So instead of paying 6 or 7%, I'll pay that 3% or whatever the going rate is, and I'll still get my home sold. I'll save a few $1,000s on the listing side, and I've got an agent that's going to help us with the paperwork, right? So that's usually the case. Or if you don't see that, and I've done this before, I had clients, and it was even more like, ooh, let's see what happens, because their mom knew somebody at work who was selling their home for sale, but we had set the expectation in a buyer consultation that, hey, if any of that stuff ever happens, give us a call. I scheduled the appointment. I went there with them. And then afterward, when they left, I stuck around and I talked with the owners a little bit. I said, hey, would you pay a buyer agent commission? They said, absolutely. Sweet. Here's the deal. I'm going to go visit with them. We're going to put together an offer. I'll submit it to you. I'll help you guys. We'll make sure all the paperwork's taken care of. Blah, 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 blah. And I still got paid. Yes. Right. But no, that's how you would go about it. Now, if they're a for sale by owner, and they say, well, absolutely not. The whole reason we're doing this is we don't want to pay anybody anything, right? Here's what I would tell my buyers in that circumstance. Cindy, here's the deal. It's been a pleasure helping you. If that's the home that you truly, truly want, I will not stand in your way. I wish you luck. Let me know if you have questions about it or if you need any help at all. But all I would ask, since I put in a lot of time with you over the last few months helping you throughout this process, all I would ask is that if and when you come across anybody else that needs the help of a great agent, or when you need the help of an agent again in the future, that you refer folks to me, or that you come back to me to help you with the other real estate transactions. Why did I use that strategy? I'm playing the long game. I'm playing the long. Here's the deal. If you've been in the business long enough, or if you do enough deals, you're going to come across stuff that's kind of crappy sometimes, right? It just is what it is. So rather than make her feel terrible or threaten her and say, well, I still want to get paid, I'm going to say, here's the deal, Cindy, that's cool. You know, you're 1 out of 30 transactions. I'm saying this in my head. You're 1 out of 30 transactions this year. I'm okay with that. Here's what I'd rather have happen. I'd rather still maintain a very great relationship with you and have you do business with me in the future and send all your friends to me as well, right? So that's okay. And here's what else I know. Go try it out. They may or may not come to terms. So I want to leave the door open for her to come right back to me, right? If I'm just a jerk and I make her angry and it doesn't work out with that for sale by owner, what do you think she's gonna hire somebody else now? She's like, well, now I know what I know. I didn't know that about that guy before, but wow, right? So just always leave the door open, be kind, courteous, whatever. So first I would try to go for the commission on the buy side, or you could say this, well, here's the deal, Cindy, because I talked to them, they're not willing to pay a buyer agent commission. So I'm wondering if you would still like my help in this transaction, would you be okay paying, 3%? And I'll help you from start to finish and make sure that everything's well taken care of. That's an option too. I've had agents where their buyer has paid them to help them with that transaction. So there's still options out there. Any other questions?
Well, I mean, what if you do show somebody for 6 months and you have this buyer's agreement, but another agent grabs them, goes in the house, sells them? They buy it.
Then you have,
Did procure.
then you have a question to ask yourself. Are you going to go after them for a commission?
That other agent.
No, it has nothing to do with the other agent. It's the
Isn't
client.
there a kind of unwritten rule with agents, or
Not
is
at all.
it? No?
Not at all. Well, especially if that agent didn't know. In good faith, if that agent had no idea, do you think clients are honest all the time, the general public?
Sure.
No, they're some of the shadiest people. No, I'm just kidding. But honestly, sometimes they don't know what they don't know. And if you're a buyer of ours, when you sign a contract with us, you sign it for a year.
Well, that was my next question.
Yeah, it wasn't period of time.
I do it for a year. That's what I do, because I know sometimes it takes a long time, right? Sometimes I'll meet with people and say, we want to buy a house 8 months from now. And I go, bless your heart, right? That's why I signed them for so long, because I know, or life might happen, or something might change, and I would say, hey, we got to push pause for 2 months and pick it back up here. So I do it for a year all the time. Now, if somebody says, hey, they push back, okay, I'll do 6 months. I'll do that. I don't care, because I always tell people this too. You might sign with me for a year, but if at any point in time you say that you want to fire me and cancel, well, I'll cancel with you. I don't want to deal with that headache, right? So I signed it for a year, but here's what could happen. Brad comes in, we do a consult, and he realizes, I've still got to do X, Y, and Z. I've got to get out of my lease still, which I have 4 months on, blah, 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 blah. And so, and I failed to do any follow-up, right? So he signed a buyer rep with me, but I failed to stay in touch with follow-up. And, it's 4 or 5 months later, Brad's already kind of forgotten about me. I've forgotten about him. He meets and talks with somebody else, and they ask him the question, well, Brad, do you have another agent? Well, what do you think Brad's going to say? No, genuinely, he's like, not really. I mean, I met a guy 6 months ago, but I wouldn't say he's my agent. And they're going to ask, did you sign anything with him? And Brad might honestly say, no, I honestly don't recall signing anything, even though he did. It's just an honest mistake, right? So me, in good faith, I asked the right questions. I just didn't get the right information. Now, if I help him buy a property, it closes and I get the commission, what right do you have to come after me? The disagreement's not between you and I as agents. The disagreement is between you and Brad based on the buyer rep contract that you signed, right? Because you could technically go back and say, well, Brad, we signed a buyer rep contract that said for the next 12 months, if you bought a property, I would get a commission, right? Or I could make it even worse and say that you helped him for 3 months, a lot, then he had to push the pause button, and 3 months later is when he reached out to me, right? So it's not an agent to agent thing. It's an agent to client conflict.
I feel like we're kind of beating this a little bit, but I have.
No, this is good. It's really important.
So I have 2 instances where I've had this happen, 2 different scenarios. One was I had a home listed.
Okay.
And
They contacted you.
yeah, the guy contacted me, but he had a buyer rep with this other agent, and he's like, I don't like working with her.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, I get that, but I'm not gonna step on her toes. You know, it just doesn't feel right, and I wouldn't want her to do that to me as well.
Sure.
So I said, you need to contact her and you need to tell her that you need to cancel that agreement before I will work with you.
That's the exact right thing you should do. That's exactly how I've done that before with people.
It sent out a fireball. I
That's
mean,
okay.
She was calling me, she was upset, blah, 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 whatever. And, you know,
Can I push a pause button real fast?
yeah,
Okay, so I want to pause real quick to make sure things are clear. If somebody calls you and they disclose to you that they have a relationship with an agent and they're signed, can we like actively lobby them to cancel? The answer is yes and no. If somebody calls me and they say, Zach, here's the deal. This happened to me, this is a real life scenario. And it was, I didn't get the business at first because I didn't follow up, but there were people, there were mutual acquaintances of friends of ours. They knew we were in real estate. So if you ever need help, let me know. Well, I got a phone call and they said, Zach, here's the deal. We've been working with this other agent. They're doing a terrible job. We should have called you first. I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. You know, what do we do? And I said, well, here's the deal. What you can do is you can contact that agent and you can request to cancel your contract with them. If you do that, ask for a copy of that cancellation, send me a copy once you've got one, and at that point I can help you, right? If they're reaching out to me and asking me, I can explain that process to them. But what I can't do is this. Be at an open house, Cindy comes in and says, oh yeah, I've got an agent. And I say, well, here's the deal. Did you know that you can actually cancel that contract and you can get rid of that agent? Or you can't do that, right? But if they come to you saying, hey, I would like to do it, we can educate them about it and leave it up to them to do it. And then if it's canceled, you know, we can take them on as a professional. So anyway, back to your story. So you did the right thing and you said, hey, here's what I can tell you. You can request to cancel. If that happens, I can work with you.
yeah. I mean, the other agent, she was, you know, really upset about it, and I think she was just kind of grasping at
Absolutely.
how can I keep him. But anyway, long story short, he just closed on a home 2 weeks ago, last Friday.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, the contract would have ran out because he missed out on this deal. But I mean, it was a situation I didn't like to find myself in.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, like, the community that I am in is so small, and I want to be friends with everybody, and I love working with people, and I don't want to have any hard feelings, anything like that.
Well, then you were in the wrong business. No, just kidding.
Right.
Just kidding.
Right, exactly. I love working with people that are fun. You know,
Yeah,
I don't
right,
want it to
right.
be like stuffy. And
Oh yeah.
the other thing, same agent. I had a property listed in a town.
It's the same agent.
Mhm.
So I think it's just the other agent, let's be honest.
Right?
Just kidding.
Well, this instance, I had the house listed. She had called and asked if she could do a showing. I said, yeah, go ahead. I said, it's open, you know, here's code, blah, blah, blah. There's no renters or anything. And she calls me and she's like, about the renters. And I'm like, there's no renters in there. What are you talking about? And she's like, yeah, his name is whatever. And I'm like, so then I started thinking, I'm like, did I send her to the wrong house? Because there's a renter in the other house that I had listed. I said, his name is Johnny, I'll say. And she's like, no, it's this. I'm like, no, his name is Johnny. Long story short, again, here, some people had moved in over the weekend. I wasn't aware of this. And this was a Monday. And she was red hot because she has a buyer rep contract signed with the renters. And so she wanted money.
Yeah, that's just not even.
And I'm like, well, obviously they're not selling.
Right.
You know, because then I called, you know, my seller and he said, it's a relative, they needed a place to stay. He's like, why don't we just take it off the market? And he's like, well, you know, check back with each other later. And I'm like, that's fine.
Right.
So she was mad because I didn't have anything set in stone to where she could get paid if these guys were to like do a contract for deed or something.
Yeah, this lady's a little, I'm gonna say she's a little nuts. She's
Yeah.
grasping at straws for compensation.
Right.
So it sounds like she had some people under buyer rep contract, which your agreement is, I'm gonna get compensated if you buy something with me. If they go rent something in the meantime, you're SOL.
Right.
That's how it is, right? So yeah, she just sounds like, maybe she should do some more continuing education and learn more about how these contracts work and all that fun stuff. I'm being a little bit facetious there, but a lot of that is if you get those phone calls as an agent, just ask them good questions back, right? Hey, Steph, what the heck? I got this guy calling to cancel a representation agreement with me. He said you told him to do it. Well, let me be very clear with you. That's not how it actually happened. I had a conversation with him. He expressed that he wasn't in contract with you. He was kind of unhappy. So I said, hey, you need to have a conversation with her. And if ultimately she's willing to cancel a contract with you, that's the only way I can help you. Right? And just kind of help them understand. Anyway, that sounds like a fun one.
Did he say what she was doing then?
This agent is really pushy, very pushy. And I mean, she has to be, I mean, she's calling all the time. So I mean, it makes people uncomfortable. I don't operate like that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Can I ask just one quick question?
Absolutely, guys, this whole thing is designed for questions.
I'm working with someone tomorrow, and I'm going to get a merger of buyers.
Rep agreement?
Yes.
Okay.
They're renting, and their lease is up June 1st.
Okay,
So
perfect.
for the dates, start and end date.
Yeah. I'd do it for a year.
Okay.
Do it for a year. Almost nobody ever objects to it, and if they do, this is a standard line that I use. Hey, I do a year for everybody that I work with. That way, if my files are ever reviewed by the Department of Commerce, they can't say that I actively discriminated against anybody. The same term for everyone. It's covered for a year. And oh, by the way, if for whatever reason you ever want to cancel with me, just let me know. I'll write Boyd on there and send you a copy. Because I'm never going to force somebody that's unhappy with me to work with me. That's just not good for you or for me. That sounds terrible. Right? So if at the end of the day you want to fire me, you can fire me. I think we've done it maybe once in our career. Maybe twice. I think once where some buyers requested to cancel. And it's because their dad became involved in the transaction and he had a buddy who, and we did the right thing. We got him signed under contract, right? Well, all of a sudden dad enters and he's got a buddy and now he's trying to help out with the purchase by, money, this, that, and the other. And he basically made his daughters request to cancel a contract with us. I'm not going to force these poor girls to, fight with their dad to work. I mean, here's the deal. I'm a realtor. I don't need that drama in my life. So they came in. I said, hey, is there anything else we can do for you? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, no problem. Just like I said, if you ever want to cancel, we'll do that. Cancel. Here's your contract. Wish you well. By the way, if you ever do any real estate transactions in the future where you come across other folks, please feel free to send them our way. I promise to take great care of them. Right? Who do you think they walked out of that meeting mad at? It wasn't me. It was her dad, and rightfully so. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, just nuts. Okay, let's look at the page 11. Page 11's got some scripts on it. So what you'll find is they've got number 1 and number 2 are 2 scripts you can utilize, and then they both feed over to the rest of the script, which is on the right side of the page. So script 1 is if you're new to real estate. Hey, this is Zach. Do you have a quick second? I'd like to share with you some exciting news. I've recently become a real estate agent with Keller Williams with this new partnership or with my new career, blah, 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 blah. I thought about sharing this with you because I know you're someone who might help grow my business. And I'd like to ask. Now I'm over on the right side. I'm skipping the part about the app at the top. Going to the second paragraph. I'd like to ask who might you know from work, your neighborhood, church, etc., that might be interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate. Does anybody come to mind? Awesome. Hey, thanks for taking a minute to even think about that. I've got a wealth of interesting and timely information about the market in your area. I'd love to send it to you. Can I make sure I've got your current email and address? Awesome. Appreciate you sharing that with me. And could you do me a huge favor? If you do hear of someone that has any real estate needs, would you please keep me in mind and put them in touch with me? Great. Awesome. I really appreciate that. And again, thank you for your time. And please let me know if there's anything I can ever do for you. That script is a good script. It's better than nothing, right? I'll share with you kind of my more condensed version. Basically sounds a little bit like this. And this could be, let's say this is a new to real estate call. So I'm going to call Cindy. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Cindy, this is Zach. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. How's the new year treating you?
Oh, pretty good. Fast.
Absolutely. Awesome. 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 Hey, I'm just calling to let you know I literally just started a new career in real estate. I'm super excited and pumped about it. And I'm calling you because you came to mind as somebody that, might be able to help.
Oh, great.
Could you do me a huge favor? If you come across anybody that ever has any real estate needs, could you put me in touch with them? I promise to take great care of them.
Absolutely.
Awesome, Cindy. I really appreciate it. You looking forward to the game this weekend?
Oh, yes.
Go Vikes, right?
Yes, you don't want a Packer fan.
Yeah, right. I won't hold that against you, but hey, again, I appreciate you. Just give me a couple minutes of your time. Thanks very much and have a great rest of the day.
Good luck.
Thanks. What's your takeaway on that kind of a phone call? Is that easy? Could you do 10 phone calls like that a day? Did I say, Cindy, are you looking to buy or sell or invest? No. Do you know of anybody? Because when I say, do you know of anybody, who does that include? It includes her. Right? A reasonable person, if they're thinking of doing something real estate related, might say, well, actually, we're thinking about doing something, right? If you make enough of those phone calls consistently, you'll plant all kinds of seeds for referrals, and every once in a while, the saying, a blind squirrel even finds a nut, will apply to you. You make enough of those phone calls, you're going to get that one person. Actually, Zach, you hit me exactly on the right day, man. We were just talking about going out to some open houses this weekend. Great. Don't do that. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's awesome. Here, before you go to any opens, why don't you come on in? Let's have a little bit of a consultation and talk about what it is you're looking for. I'll help you come up with a game plan. Would that be helpful? Yeah, sweet. Come on down. That's all. Yes, Brad.
I recently got a text out of the blue from a real estate agent, and he said, I have some people that are thinking of selling in your neck of the woods, and they can't believe how much their house is worth. I just thought I'd share that with you because you live in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Have you
He's
thought about
doing
selling?
that, spitballing everybody, and maybe I might have been ready to sell or whatever. But how does he get my information?
He probably hired some circle prospecting company, or there's companies called like Land Voice or other companies that will allow you to basically draw a map around a certain area. And it will see if a system can pull phone numbers for those addresses, and you may or may not get some good phone numbers or not. If he was really good, he'd call you. But a text, it's better than nothing.
And yeah, if I'd been interested, I don't know anybody, I might have responded to it.
Yeah.
Being a real estate agent, I'm like, that's a sorry, attempt at just trying to talk to everybody. But
Sure. But it's better than nothing, right?
better than nothing.
What's he doing? He's lead
Hey,
generating.
the numbers.
He's lead generating. He knows if I text enough people, either A, I might get some quick, easy ones, or I might at least plant some seeds with some people that think, oh my gosh, really, the market's really that hot. Interesting. Keep that in the back of my mind. And who knows, maybe at some point, they'll reach out to him, or he might capture that business somehow.
Have you ever offered anything for referrals?
You have to be careful, because you can get in trouble if you send me a referral, I'll give you this. That's a no-no. Legally, that's a no-no. But what I will do is if somebody sends me a referral, usually I write them a little note and it says, hey, thank you so much for supporting our business. We really appreciate it. Blah, 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 blah. And I'll include like a $5 gift card and send it to them. It doesn't say, thank you so much for referring so-and-so to me. That's why I'm rewarding you with this, because technically that's a no. But what I can say, I can give gifts to people. And if they support my business, I can show them some appreciation, right? So, hey, thank you so much for supporting my business. Greatly appreciate everything that you do for us. Enjoy. If you come across folks, please put them in touch. That you can do.
I didn't realize it was a.
Yeah, I know one time because I made a Facebook post where a friend of mine referred me to somebody, and I posted, hey Ted, thanks so much for putting me in touch with, John. You've got a whatever gift card coming your way. Because I wanted everybody to see, hey, this is what I do. If you send me a referral. Well, then I got a little private message that said, hey, dude, you might want to take that down. That is a no-no. It's like, okay, understood.
Who enforces provided?
That would be if a commerce department person saw that or screenshot of that sucker.
Patrol?
Yeah.
You could say, send people my way, I'll take good care.
Yeah, absolutely. Or I'll take great care of them. Yeah, as long as you're not, you can run contests. That's completely legit. That's okay. Yeah, I can see that's like, oh my God, what's going on here? I'll see if I can't dig up a link or two to share with you that kind of talks about or explains some of that stuff. But yeah, we can't go up, because ultimately what ends up happening is this. You know, if you send me somebody, I'll pay you $1,000, or if you send me this, like that. And then when it becomes really sketchy is when all of a sudden it's lenders and realtors, or lenders and insurance people, or lenders and title company, because then it becomes a you scratch my back, I scratch your back type of thing.
Kickback thing.
It then becomes a kickback, which ultimately then things are not happening in the best interest of clients. It's, hey, no, how do I get you over to this person because I know they're going to give me a kickback, or vice versa, et cetera, et cetera. Right?
I thought that was just with businesses, but not the individual or, but okay. I see.
Okay, so that's new to real estate version. Now let's say you're just new to the company, right? So you could use any variation of this. Actually, I'm not going to read out number 2. Just look at it. It's kind of similar. And again, you transition right over to the other script, which is the referral script. Hey, who do you know that might be interested? This one takes it a step further because they ask, hey, does anybody come to mind right now? Because they're trying to force that person to really think about it. And they're also priming the pump a little bit by saying anybody from work, church, whatever. Because if I just ask you, hey, can you think of anybody? That's pretty open, right? But when I start asking you to think about specific groups of people, sometimes that helps, you know, helps them think a little bit more deeper. It can trigger, hey, well, yeah, actually. But when you ask somebody this question, what do you think the response you almost always get is? Yes. No, if I said, Brad, can you think of anybody right now? What do you think most people say? No, nobody comes to mind immediately, dude. Like I was in the middle of playing Xbox. I'm not thinking about real estate, right? So all you want to do is say, hey, thank you. I appreciate you even taking a minute to think about that. Can you do me a huge favor? That's how I always like to phrase it. Can you do me a huge favor? If you do come across somebody that has any real estate needs, would you put them in touch with me? I promise to take great care of them. That's my go-to referral script. Hands down. And I'll use it just about anywhere, not just on phone calls, right? Let's say that I'm out at a happy hour, I run into Steph, we're just chit-chatting, and you know, what is always often a topic of conversation when you're just doing idle chit-chat with somebody? Work, how's business, right? And if somebody asks me that question, I mean, what do most agents say when somebody says, hey, how's the market, or how's work?
Good.
Good?
Kids are good, wife's good.
Yeah, good, missed opportunity. They just basically opened the door and gave you permission to give a 15 to 20 second commercial. And we're just saying, good, new topic, right? Say, Steph, hey, work is going great. Thanks for asking. It's a new year, super excited to help. You know, a lot of people this year, the market is on fire. Since you brought it up or since you asked, do you know of anybody that's looking to buy or sell? And you're gonna say no, right? I'm saying, awesome, hey, thanks for even taking a second to think about it. If you do come across somebody, please feel free to put them in touch. I'd love to take great care. By the way, do you need any business cards? I can give you some now, or you know, you don't have to take that next step. Or usually I just say, hey, here's a couple cards. You know, if you come across people, send them my way. I'll take great care of them. It's an easy one. And if she's not bringing up, if work's not coming up, what can I ask her? How's work? Because usually when you ask somebody how's work, they give you a quick answer, and what do they ask you? How's work for you? Well, funny you should ask, since you brought it up, right? You know, I know where I want the conversation to go at some point. Because to me, I'm a big referral guy. I'm a referral-based business. That's how I do the bulk of it, right? So I need to ask myself, how do I ensure I get opportunities to plant the referral seed, right? So whether it's at an open house, on the phone, at a happy hour, just at, you know, a meeting with friends or what have you, how can I make sure that I can at least say that quick sentence? Hey, if you ever come across anybody that has any real estate needs, please feel free to send them my way. Promise to take great care. That's all I want to do is get that little chunk out there. Because what did I just do with Steph? Planted the seed about referrals. And notice, I didn't say, could you do me a favor and refer them to me? Because that's the language that we use. We're looking for referrals, right? But the general public doesn't really use that. They don't say, hey, they might say this, but they don't usually say, hey, let me refer you to an agent that I know. Sometimes they do. But usually it's like, hey, let me put you in touch with, or hey, let me get you hooked up with. So great. Hey, could you do me a favor? Would you put them in touch with me? Not, hey, would you do me a favor and refer them to me? Hey, could you do me a huge favor? Send them my way. Put me in touch. Connect us. What time have we got? Do you need a little bit of a break, or are we doing okay? It's about 10:45. Let's pick it back up at 10:55. Do a quick break so people might need some coffee refills, etc. If you're at home, you can go. You can get dressed for the day now. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll put pants on.
Yeah, right. We're just taking a quick break. We'll pick it back up in about a few minutes.
You know what you were saying earlier about working with somebody for 6 weeks and then they leave?
Yeah.
If you didn't build any rapport with them in
No,
that 6
for-
weeks.
for sure.
And they don't want to work with you anymore, fuck, let them go.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just thought,
Be like, after I put in that much effort and we talked about sports and hunting or whatever, and you rode in my vehicle and I took you to these places and now you want me to get screwed out of my commission? Go to hell.
yeah, no, I agree. I just thought,
But there'll be some
what's the
people
point
like
of
that.
the contract? I'm like, well, what's the point of the contract? And I guess
It's kind of a handshake agreement.
more
You
than
can
anything,
use
it's
it.
not real buying. I mean, it is.
You could use
it.
it if you had to, but you don't want to. Or somebody that.
No, for sure. And I wouldn't go down that road. I
No.
just, yeah, no, I agree.
I did a couple times and it wasn't fun at all.
No, I can't
Some
imagine it
people
would.
fucking hate you. And then you're like, you gotta go through the whole process.
Oh, yeah.
Rather much more.
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, he was talking earlier about work with somebody for 6 weeks and then they go to somebody else.
Right.
What do you do? Well, if you built rapport for 6 weeks, they rode in your vehicle, you talked about sports, you talked about all this stuff, and they want to let you, and you made it clear that you're not going to make anything, or, you know, that's how you get paid, then let them go.
Beauty of, yes, ma'am. The beauty of, if your business is primarily built upon repeat and referral, you very rarely ever have to worry about that.
Well, for sure.
They already think you're awesome on that page.
Right.
Their front door.
Exactly, but if your business is just built on, you know, just trying to buy leads from random sources, you're gonna get a bunch of crap stuff and uncommitted or potentially unloyal people that you don't know from Adam, so you don't quite know how they're. There's plenty of great people out there that I have found that way.
Sure.
But if I had to, you know, if I probably really clearly thought about who have I been burned by, it's the randoms. Without a doubt, it's the randoms.
Because they're gonna object to anything or say anything like this. It's gonna be in the buyer consultation. Because one of the big objections, I think are gonna come out, they're like, no, I don't want you.
Right.
So I don't
So-
want any more.
Or it's how you mitigate and overcome some of those objections.
How are you gonna prove it? Tell them that, you know, it's a value for them to have you as a rep.
You know,
rather
it's
than-
a car
you
business,
have
I don't want a
your
white car,
fiduciary-
but that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fiduciary duties.
It's like we got here.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause I'm
Yeah,
kind of nervous
there's
tomorrow.
no dealer trade, this is what we're doing.
Do we need to do a run through later today?
It's funny how this.
Yeah,
goes
we
hand in
could.
hand.
Yeah, let's do
I
that.
think
We
it's
do
gonna be
buyer
okay because
consultations
she's
all
always
the time.
reaching
No, I
out
just
to
wanna see
me.
that.
Okay.
I've been
Yeah,
at an
Sit
open
down.
house.
Who are you? What do you do
She's
for a
reaching,
living?
she's always
I-
thanking me, hoping I
Yeah,
just got too much
it's
trouble
just like,
tomorrow.
yeah, get them in the
because she knows I have an
process.
open
Well,
You
house.
don't treat her like an animal.
So I
Treat her
think
like
it'll
a
be okay.
professional.
Where you
Or you go, you get out of
At
it.
the house.
Okay.
Come right
That's
to
fine.
open right to the
Those are
house.
people.
That's perfect.
I hand
They
you
treat
any
months,
house.
they don't
Okay.
buy anything.
Okay.
Anyway.
Use that guy.
So I've already had
They
them
do
sign the
it, it's gonna
disclosure.
take so
Okay.
much time.
So-
The
And then they're not happy when they do
Agency
this.
disclosure.
And they
So
wreck your
tomorrow,
attitude, which is
we're
worse.
going for,
Good for you.
You got it.
so.
You got it. It'll be good. It's all, I'm telling you, it's all about how we present it. It's all about the mindset that we have about presenting it. My mindset used to be, okay, this sounds like a great way to not get business. It sounds like a great way to scare people away. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, it's the one thing the first thing that doubled my business was committing to and just being religious about the buyer consultation. Hands down. We've got right now, coming into 2018, I was talking with Carly, and we already had 12 or 15 signed buyer rep agreements coming into the new year. What does that do for your business when you know that you've already got that kind of a pipeline coming into the new year? Right? That's huge. And if you don't sign buyer rep contracts with people, you never really kind of have some of that certainty.
Solid.
Exactly. You can't really track it, but we know we've got, you know, we've talked to more than 12 or 15 people, right? But no, we know we've got 12 or 15 pretty sure bet pieces of business moving into the new year that we're going to close at some point. So now our only goal is how do we just make sure we keep a steady pipeline of signed contracts, right? Versus a steady line of, you know, hopefully they turn into something, because that's really not as sure of a bet.
This is funny how this goes. I hate to talk about the car business so much, but
No,
this
it's
goes
good. I
so
love it.
hand in hand.
Yeah.
With the car business. A guy came in about 3 years ago, and I was already doing well, and he goes, you know, you aren't doing that great, and I'm gonna show you how to do better. And I'm like, who are you? And all that stuff. He goes, just do what I say.
Right.
And I promise you. And because, you know, we have problems with people going, no, I just want to see that vehicle out there. I just want you to tell me about it. Well, I'm kind of busy right now. Can we do that later? Like, how's 2 to 2:30? If they say, yeah, I'll come in between 2 and 2:30, you got something.
They're motivated.
If you say, no, I just want to see the inside of this so I can go home to my home state and buy it from somebody else,
They're
just
just
wasting
looking
your
at it.
time.
Exactly.
But I thought the same thing as you. Like, I'm not going to do these buyer consultations because I'm just going to scare people and stuff. And I said,
Or I'm going to miss opportunities.
because you don't have anything. Don't you realize that you don't have anything until you get them to do this?
Right.
And sit down. By the way, you're not just asking them about themselves. You're testing the water, and if you want to work with the people,
Right.
You know.
Is this a local guy or?
He passed away now. He came in to our dealership, wasn't doing so well. He came in, and he's a guy that comes into a place and changes everything and fixes dealerships and goes to the next one. Wild guy. I mean, just the craziest guy. passed away from, was on painkillers pretty bad.
Oh, really?
He got into an accident, got addicted to them.
Sure.
And genius. I mean, he'd come up to me, he'd really got his eyes open, and he'd be telling me this stuff. And I'm like, the stuff that he's telling me is the smartest stuff I've heard in 10 years, and it works. And it's great stuff, and this is how he turns places around. But it got the best of him.
Yeah.
And, the Oxycontin and all that stuff, I guess it's really something to not take it away from what's been going on.
That's what I hear. But he's,
Genius.
you're exactly right. The parallel's the same. Just let me see this car. Let me test drive this car is the same thing as I just want to go see this home. Just show me the home. All you want me to do is open the door. You've got no intention of doing business with me. So I'm not going to take an hour and a half, 2 hours out of my day to do that, because if I don't do that, and instead I lead generate during that time, I will find somebody who is motivated, right? Or come into an appointment that allows me to engage your motivation and how serious you are about actually buying a place versus just going and kicking the tires. No pun intended, right?
It's like
It's the mentality. These are my toys, and I'm going to say how you can play with them.
Yeah, we control the access to the home, right?
Right.
So if you want access to the home, great. Here's how you get it. You come and meet with me, then I'll get you in. Right? I say it much nicer than that.
Sure.
But when I put my business hat on, that's what it is at the end of the day, Brad. Here's the deal. I'm extremely valuable in several ways, but one of the ways in which I'm most valuable is I have access to information. I have access to properties. If you want access to that property, great. The least you can do is come spend 30 minutes with me first. And then I will afford you the opportunity to look at that home. Right. Now, that's business, Zach. Happy-go-lucky Zach has to say that much nicer to people to get them to agree to it and sign on.
Between ourselves
Exactly.
and stuff. But would you agree? I think in the car, this is like 90% of the business are people that aren't very good at it. Would you agree the same thing in real estate, where like if I come and I give you a buyer consultation, they're like, whoa, I've been looking at houses with other people. They never done this for me. They never asked these questions.
Brad, I'll answer that question by saying this. Keller Williams, for several years, has been recognized as the #1 training and education company, regardless of industry. So, by the way, no other real estate companies have been named. So what do you think that tells you about other realtors out there? They're not going through the same level of training and education, which means if you dial into this stuff and you implement it and you master it, you will be one of the most highly trained, highly effective realtors out there, which is why the business of our agents continues to grow when you compare to other people. And it's also why some people just don't get us, because they might not even, they're scared of growth a little bit, right? But if you implement this stuff, that'll be the key. And I'm a case study in that, because I came from Medina Realty, didn't go through this stuff, came over to Keller Williams, tapped into the training and education, business doubled, and then I started coaching with Keller Williams Coach, business doubled again. I did exactly what that guy did for you. They just told me what to do
In 10 minutes.
and I did it, and I was like, oh my God, great, awesome. So anyway, I think it's huge. And no matter in what stage of your career that you're in or how much business you're doing, like you said, you were already doing well.
Oh, I was doing good.
You were already doing well. He came in, and how much better do you think you did?
40%.
That's huge.
It was sick. And
That's
he's sitting in the back with his eyes halfway open, looking at me like,
Right.
getting big cuts of this money, and it's just, all you had to do is say a few things. Then I had other people train me for years, and we had all these different trainers, and I learned a little, but with 10 minutes from this guy.
Did you ever go to see Cardone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cardone, Zig Ziglar.
I sold cars in Denver for a couple of years.
Did you?
I took a break from college. I had to get them home. That's what I did.
What'd you think of it?
I loved it. It was cutthroat though.
Oh, God.
Friday
I've
morning
heard that
meetings.
guy's name a couple times.
Oh, he's
Aaron Perleberg, if you're watching, he's the one that most recently brought him up to me.
Zig Ziglar?
No, Cardone.
Oh, Cardone, yeah, he's huge in car business. And now with everything.
Yeah. for
Be
sure.
his friend on Facebook once. Just be his friend on Facebook for a while. He's got a jet.
Right.
He shows off his wealth in a way that, it's hard to explain. But
He shows off his wealth in a way that makes you want to pay him to try to learn what he's doing,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you think, and oh, by the way, how much of that stuff's really his? I'm just playing devil's
Hard to
advocate.
say, but
Right.
he's a show off.
Right.
In a good way.
But that's the car business.
Here's the deal. It's all about a system, and it's about having focus. And the focus is It's about conversion, right? No, really, it's about how do I build the relationship? How do I build that relationship and then convert them to a client either today, tomorrow, or whenever. Whenever they decide to do a real estate transaction, they convert with me or they refer people to convert with me. That's a whole, and it's about having a systematic, planned, organized approach to it. I used to just kind of approach it with a shoot from the hip mentality because I'm good with people. I'll naturally, thankfully, I'll get by, right? Better than your average person. But when I got super laser focused about it and I developed the scripts and the skills and it was all about a system, okay, Zach, no more being entrepreneurial. Every time you have the conversation, it's about setting a consultation. That's a system. That's what skyrocketed.
Now, well, it goes back to the database. I know
Yes.
from our rental standpoint, we didn't have that base, that good database.
Right.
We could only grow so much,
Right.
and that's gonna restrict you.
Right.
Because you can't do everything. You gotta have a good, well-oiled system
And
that everything
automate.
funnels through, and that allows you to grow.
Right.
If you don't have that, you're only gonna be able to do so much.
You got to cast a wide net and then automate as much of it as you can too. Right.
But whether that's bookkeeping or lead generation, and if you get leads, you gotta be able to keep up with them. Right. To be able to touch them. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's,
It's the same thing because sometimes people are like, oh yeah, well, I know we're going to talk about database, but what else? But here's the deal. Target, Walmart, all these other retailers, what do they, every time you go and you buy something from someplace, what do they ask you for? Yeah, they want your zip code, they want your email address, they want this, because they're building their database.
you know what's awesome about Walmart when they first started? What happens when you walk in?
You get greeted.
What do?
They say, hi, how are you? And maybe give you a sticker.
They give you a shopping cart. It's
Oh,
not,
there you
are
go.
you looking? It's like, you're gonna.
It's
know.
an assumption.
Yeah.
Guess
They
what?
Give you a shopping cart. A Walmart, I'm not huge on Walmart. You buy a toothbrush and they give you a kiddie pool and all this stuff. But that was big. When they first started, they had usually a person there and they, not only they say hi, but they give you shopping carts.
Well,
That's crazy.
Well, that's an interesting mentality that you could approach to real estate.
Assume the same.
Make the assumption that they want to work with you and that they're going to do a transaction.
Actually, I think Walmart's the only one that still does that. Maybe Costco, I don't know, but.
Also, Sam's Club is the one owned by Walmart, right?
Yeah.
Not Costco.
Well, they're losing a bunch of their stores.
Amazon's putting a hurting on people.
Sam's Club.
Really?
Well, brick and mortar, I mean, Amazon, that guy is,
But you know, so here's the deal. When you look at all the retailers, what's happening? Sorry, we're digressing a little bit. But we'll get back
Well,
in.
it's all business.
And it's business, exactly. It's business and it's the economy, right? And we have to pay attention to it because we're not a retail business, right? Sometimes people get confused. It's easy to think that we're a retail business and that we have a product because we kind of do, right?
Ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what do most people think our product is? What do most people think we're selling? Homes. No, I'm not a home builder. So that's not what you said is correct. We're selling our services. We're in the service industry, right? You know, that's what we're really, I'm selling you me and my value to you in your transaction or my ability to get your home marketed properly and help you negotiate and give you advice, etc. Right? That's what we're selling. So when you look at the retailers and you look at Sears, I mean, that was probably, you don't have to look back 10 or 15 years to say Sears was probably being used as an example of a phenomenal company that's just amazing that you want to model after. And that company within 1 to 2 years is going to be gone, completely wiped out, right? Well, that's what's happening with a lot of retailers. But I was reading an article, one of the retailers that's actually still outperforming or surging forward and doing well is which one? You just talked about them. It's Walmart, because they changed and adapted. Amazon, their platform is largely based on what? The internet, online. So what did Walmart do? They doubled down and built a very robust online presence. And you can now order stuff and pick it up at Walmart.
Yeah.
You use it at
Oh,
Walmart?
yes.
Their online thing?
Yeah, their Walmart.com is phenomenal.
I haven't used, I mean, I'm Amazon.
Yeah, I know.
I've used it once. It was around Black Friday, and I really just kind of was curious to use it after I looked at.
Pickup service?
Yeah, or just their online marketplace because they've already got what Amazon doesn't, which is distribution centers everywhere, right? Amazon is essentially trying to do that by making all the purchase online and having warehouses and then pushing the product out. Well, I think Walmart's is really brilliant because they can do the same thing, only have consumers come to them, which can save them sometimes on the shipping and all that jazz. I guess sometimes the consumer pays it
Actually, I
anyway.
just bought truck tires and I had They showed up at the Walmart, they put them on.
Yeah.
They just did that, well,
Yeah.
that's pretty slick.
There, so that's a critical thing to look at though. In any market that you're in, whether it's retail or service, are you adapting to the changes that are occurring? Not only are you adapting, are you even recognizing the changes that are occurring? Because first you have to recognize them to be able to consciously change. Sometimes we change subconsciously because we're just reacting to the market, right? But looking at what's going on in the market, what's happening, how do I need, we talked about this on Tuesday at the team meeting. If the market's all of a sudden in a situation where we're doing multiple offers all the time, what am I doing in my business to help me become fiercely competitive and much better helping clients during multiple offers? Am I learning the things I need to learn to try to help them succeed more often than not? And then, oh, by the way, that becomes a value proposition you can offer buyers. Hey, the market's fiercely competitive. In 2017, we helped 38 buyers succeed in multiple offer situations, which means we know how to get it done and we can help you do the same. Hey, that sounds like somebody I probably want to hire and work with. That sounds valuable to me as a buyer, right? So it's thinking of things from that perspective. And yeah. So I'll cut that off there and dive back into some of the material. But here's a good one, page 12. So the right-hand portion of the script is basically the same as the last page, but here's why I love this one, because people say this to me sometimes. Well, Zach, I've been doing this for 3-4 years. I can't just call people and say, hey, I'm new to real estate. Will you do business with me? Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Okay, great. Well, guess what? It's a new year. Can you call them and say, hey, Happy New Year. By the way, I helped X amount of people in 2017. My goal is to help X amount of people in 2018. I'm just calling to see if you would mind helping me hit my goal this year. If you come across anybody looking to buy or sell, would you send them my way, right? And then what am I also doing subconsciously when I throw out some numbers? Exactly. Basically saying I'm experienced. Hey, we helped 50 people do transactions last year. This year we want to help 75. Right? If you don't know, because the general public, man, they're not watching our numbers unless we share it with them. They have no idea how many deals we did. I guarantee you tell somebody, if you help 20, 30, 40, 50 people, and you say, hey, we helped 50 people do transactions last year, you're gonna have some people go, you did how many? Crap. Zach's maybe a little bit better at real estate than I even realized. He's for sure gonna be my go-to guy, right? And sometimes you can leverage the office's numbers too. Hey, last year our company helped X amount of people. Holy crap, you guys do a lot of business. You might know what you're doing, right?
I have ran into that. Not a lot of people are familiar with Keller Williams, Delaware, have a huge presence.
I know
For now.
that's kind of a concern that my daughter has too.
For now, no, I
Yeah.
totally agree. And I think it's.
Well, let me add a caveat to that, because when Keller Williams came knocking on our door, I was with Edina Realty, right, in the Twin Cities. So if you're familiar with Minnesota and some of our companies here, Edina Realty has been a market dominator for years. Everybody knows the name. It also helps that there's a freaking city in the Twin Cities called Edina, right? Just joking. But my biggest concern was, hey man, you want me to move from Edina Realty that everybody knows and go to Keller Williams, who in end of 2012 was not as well known? I was like, man, I don't know about that. People aren't going to want to do business with me. You know what I realized? People don't care what company I'm at. People don't care what company I'm at. They honestly don't. Why do they do business with you? Because they know we're like you. It has nothing to do with what company you're at. And if you've ever had a meeting with me, or you've ever thought about joining our company, I've never said you need to join Keller Williams because people would do business with you because you're at Keller Williams. Sure. That's a standard go-to for some of the other companies. I know that's not true. I'll be honest with you. People don't care where you do business. You should care where you do business, because that's who it matters to, right? It matters to you and how the things are structured. And are we as a company meeting your needs? It has nothing to do with your clients, right? Oh, by the way, you are lucky enough to be at the company that when you're on meetings, you can say is number one. We're the biggest in the world. We're the biggest. We do the most business. You can say that in your consultations. We've made it easy for you. Yeah, don't even think twice about that. Don't let that be a limiting belief for you. Okay, so the remind them you're interested. Hey, this is Zach. Do you have a quick second? I know it's been a while. I apologize for not staying in touch. One of my New Year's resolutions is to reconnect with people, so I wanted to reach out to you. I've been busy growing my real estate business and working with great clients like you. I wanted to share with you that I have this is the script I was just using. It's that ingrained in me. Help a number of families get into a home of their dreams this year. As you already know, I'll do whatever it takes to help my clients achieve their goals. Would you help me? Then you go to the next script, right? So this one's geared toward a past client, right? But they don't have to be a past client. You can kind of use the same script no matter what, right? That's a huge one. If you need any go-to script right now if you're making phone calls, that's an easy one. It's an extremely easy one. Here's what people will tell me. Well, Zach, I haven't talked to this person in years, right? I've got so many people that I know, but I haven't talked to them in years and years and years. Great. You call them. You say, Bob, it's Zach. How are you? Good. Hey, Bob, I know it's been years. And, I'm sorry I haven't stayed in touch with you, but hey, you know what? One of the things I'm doing in 2018 is I've made it a resolution to reach back out to the people I care about and reconnect with them. So I just wanted to call and reach out to you and see how life is, man. How you doing?
Doing good, how about you?
Awesome. And then I'm reconnecting and rebuilding that relationship, right? And if it's something like that, I might not even go right into a referral script unless he brings up business. Then I might feel it out. But what I will say is, Bob, like I said before at the beginning of our conversation, I'm really just trying to keep in touch with people that I've lost touch with in the past. So if it's okay with you, I'll call or email you from time to time just to stay in touch and see how things are going. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Easy. Now I've got his permission to keep calling him. I will always say something as easy as, hey, is it okay if I stay in touch with you? Is that easy to say? What do you think most people say?
It's hard to say no to.
They've literally just given you permission. Right? And then when you call them again, you say, hey, Bob, it's Zach, just calling to stay in touch like I promised.
You
Right? Oh, you got me again with those questions I can't say no to. But that's the whole purpose of the script, right? By the way, is it fun and is it easy?
Yes.
Yeah, bro, I'm just catching. Your job is just to catch up with people. And then, oh, by the way, ask them, hey, while we're catching up, you know anybody that could use my help? No? Cool. No worries. If you come across people, let me know. Or you do, awesome. Hey, what's your contact information? I'd love to reach out to them, make sure they're well taken care of. We all nod our heads and say, yeah, it's easy, we get it, but we just don't make the calls every day.
Right.
That's where the disconnect is. Make the calls. Make the calls. The fun, and you have to do it consistently before you can't just do it for a day. You don't set an appointment, you're like, this crap, right? If you do it consistently, the minute you start seeing the results, instead of calling 10 people a day, you're gonna wanna call 20 a day because you're gonna realize it's a numbers game. It has been and always will be a numbers game. If you talk to enough people who do X amount of business, it's practically guaranteed, right? It's a numbers game. It doesn't always have to be phone calls. It's your whole marketing machine. It's the direct emails you're getting. It's the letters you're sending. It's the phone calls. It's the appreciation events they're coming to. It's the monthly newsletters that you send out. That's all part of your grand strategy of winning the numbers game. If I'm communicating with X amount of people, X amount of times per year, it's going to likely lead to X amount of business. I know it takes out all the fun. People think that we need to have these grand marketing strategies and a new video that talks about this, or I need to make this offer, blah. No, it's just need to talk to people, offer to do business with them, and then have them on some sort of a system that stays in touch with them for you, right? New to the area, I don't think we really need to cover that one. You can read through that one. That's the one that says number 4. It's similar, then it cuts right over to the script on the right side. Okay, so page 13 talks about handwritten notes and what you can write to people that you have met and what notes you can write to people that are referrals. I would just star that page or keep it in mind. So sometimes people say, well, I'm struggling about what I want to write in my note. Just refer to page 13. It'll give you some good ideas on what you can actually write via note or via email, whatever, right? Okay, page 14, we know the importance of lead generation. I'm not going to talk about it anymore today. Page 15 is exactly that funnel that you talked about, Ben. We're casting a big net, or we want to have the largest funnel possible for leads to help us set appointments, which leads to agreements, which leads to contracts, which leads to closings, right? Prospecting is the quickest and most productive way to get leads and appointments for business. So if you're ever like, Zach, what should I do? I'm going to say, you need to go prospect, you need to go lead generation. Why? Because it is the quickest and most productive way to get leads and appointments for business. The quantity of leads and the quality of appointments you obtain is a direct reflection of your prospecting effort. The Daily 10-4 is designed to help you do that. Benefits of prospecting. Inexpensive. So there's some blanks on this page, on page 16. You can fill it in with some of these things. Benefits of prospecting. Inexpensive and can yield immediate results. How much does it cost you to do an open house? $0. Do you have the potential to pick up buyers that might go under contract fairly quickly? Absolutely. Put you in control of filling a pipeline of leads, increases your confidence and skill, because when you're calling people and you're going through your scripts, how do you think I got these scripts down pat? I've said them literally probably thousands of times now. Yields quality, quantity of leads, which can yield quality, keeps you in direct contact with the market, and protects against market shifts. The people that aren't actively lead generating can sometimes get by in a good market because the market is just handing them business because it's so good. But the minute the market shifts, the people that will survive and thrive are the people that have always been lead generating because they've been actively seeking that business. The people that have just been doing the business that comes to them, when the market shifts and that business just stops coming so naturally and so abundantly, they begin to struggle because they're into lead receiving, not lead generating, right? A quick myth: prospect equals annoying people equals rejection. No, that's what we tell ourselves. That's not what it is in actuality. Really, prospecting equals meeting people, building purposeful business relationships, which equals a strong real estate business because it's repeat and referral. Here's a quote from Chris Heller, who was a CEO of Keller Williams and a very successful agent with our company. I never questioned for a moment that prospecting was the best way for me to go. Now I'm telling you, man, I've seen Chris on stage. I've listened to him. I've watched his prospecting videos. There's about zero flashiness with what the guy does. If you want to talk about just beating your head against the wall and just doing the calls and doing the scripts, that's what did it for him. He wasn't up there like, hey, super salesy, I got this and this, and I'm just that good. And I was like, hello, this is Chris with Keller Williams. I saw your house came up to market. Would you like to sell? Fantastic. Can I come out and meet you? Oh, well, don't you think you would want to hire another agent to get the job done for you this time? Well, what is it that your agent didn't do last time? He just did it. He just played the numbers game. If you can do that and you get a little bit of natural sales skill, you'll be real good. 4 C's of prospecting on page 17. Capture, connect, cultivate, and close. If you look at that diagram, actually I should see this one on the slide. Here we go. Capture, connect, close, cultivate. The reason that cultivate's down here is because sometimes you don't know how long you're going to have to cultivate it for, right? It could be a week, it could be a couple months, it could be a year. You don't know. You have to cultivate it for as long as you need to. This is systematized. If you've got them in e-edge, you put them on campaigns. If you've got Flex, you put them on listing alerts. You send them newsletters. You put them in your system to call once a quarter. Maybe they get direct note from you. I don't know. A handwritten note every now and then. This cultivating is a system. You should have a system in place that does a good portion of this for you and that lets you know when you should do certain things that only you can do, like make a phone call, right? And if you're capturing leads, connecting with them, cultivating them, then eventually it's going to lead to closing them, right? Sometimes this can go right here because it's that quick. Other times you got to spend time cultivating it before you close it. When I got real dangerous about referrals and really purposeful about it, here's one of the phrases I use in an initial buyer consultation. We're literally just a few minutes into it. And I say, Ben, I want you to be so overwhelmingly thrilled with the customer service that you experience that even before you're in your new house, you're already referring us to friends and family. If that's not being a ninja at a high level, I don't know what is. I don't even know you yet. We're just meeting, and I'm already like, I'm subconsciously planting referral seeds and kind of almost setting an expectation, right? And what else am I doing? I'm telling you something about my team too, which is what? They were customer service focused, right? I want you to be so overwhelmingly thrilled with the customer service that we provide you that even before you're in your new house, you've already referred us to friends and family. And it happened to me. I can remember I was working with a guy, Ted, We were out showing him homes. He referred me to another buddy. I went out, listed his home, got it under contract, and sold and closed on it before I sold and closed on the house with Ted. Imagine if all of your deals worked like that. Holy crap. You double your business in an instant, right? But what we're not doing is being purposeful and having conversations about referrals with people, right? Let them know. Let them know. Hey, thanks again for coming in. We really look forward to working with you. We're excited to get the job done for you. By the way, before you leave, could you do me a huge favor? If you come across any other friends and family, feel free to send them our way. I usually say it this way too in the consultation. Hey, now that you're thinking about buying a house, what you're going to find is this. Every time you're out and about, you're at a restaurant, you're at a family gathering, etc., real estate's always going to come up because it's top of mind for you. If it comes up and you come across other people that are also looking to buy or sell, here's a few more cards. Feel free to send them our way. We would greatly appreciate it. I mean, it's like by the time you first met with me, I've already worked in like 5 different referral scripts, 5 different ways. They're all camouflaged and built into that conversation because I know when real estate is top of mind for somebody, they're just more attuned to it. And I know that's going to be a max. I got to maximize my opportunity right now when I'm in a high touch situation with this client I'm going to be working with continually. They're going to be talking to their friends about real estate. Oh, we're so excited. Our offer was accepted last night. Our agent rocks. They're saying that at work. They say, oh my God, we're so happy for you. That's awesome. Where are you buying? We're buying in St. Louis Park. We're buying in Rochester. We're buying in La Crosse. We're buying in Decorah. Awesome. We've actually just been thinking about buying in that area too. Cool. You need to talk to my agent. Here's his card, right? That's what it's all about. If you've primed the pump for referrals with it, right? That's all I'm going to say about that. Questions or thoughts on that? Capture the lead by generating their contact info, connect by establishing a relationship, close for an appointment, cultivate them, right? I can't remember if I talked about this on Monday or not, but I don't think I did. So I want to go over it right now because I think it's important. When you look at the order of these 4 things, it says capture their information, establish a relationship, and then close for an appointment, right? Here's the deal, and I know this because I've been there before, and sometimes we make our calls, we're doing lead generation, and we're striking out, we're not setting appointments, right? How does that make you feel when that happens? Deflated, defeated, like the failure. You're like, man, I just spent all day in class with Zach. He's telling me to make these contacts. I did all my contacts. I did what he told me to do, which is the hard part, and I still didn't set any appointments. I suck. No, you don't. I'm just saying, you don't suck, right? Because what we've done, we train you guys so well, and we focus you so, we get you so laser focused on converting people that we lose sight of what the real goal is. The real goal of these phone calls and stuff like that is what? It's about the relationship. It's about the relationship is first and foremost, right? It's all about the relationship. Because it's the relationship that leads to conversion. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not telling you that your goal isn't to make calls and set appointments. That's definitely the goal. But what I'm telling you is don't feel defeated. Don't feel like a failure. Don't feel like you just wasted your time when you make your 10 or 20 contacts in a day and set no appointments. Because the appointments are coming. What you did is you've maintained, created, or strengthened, or deepened the relationship that at some point will lead to an appointment, whether it's with them personally or a referral. And look at the book. The book has it in the same order. Capture their information, connect by establishing a relationship, and then close or convert them to an appointment, right? So don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. We're playing the long game here. The long game is developing as many great relationships as you can, and over time, having that convert to business, right? If you do it consistently and long enough, you'll start seeing these results consistently, right? So don't beat yourself up when you make those calls and you have a lot of great conversations, but you don't feel like they necessarily are leading to immediate business. Because what you're doing is you're laying the foundation and planting seeds for a future business that might be 6 months to a year to 5 years down the road. You just don't know, right? So make this your focus. And then when you have the opportunities, you convert. Does that make sense? Is that strike any feedback on that? Anybody say, hey, that sounds like a bunch of BS? I mean, give me your honest thoughts on it.
I just find it hard to, I mean, I can connect with people like from years past.
Yeah.
It's just like a lot of people that you like forget about.
Mhm.
And then it just kind of feels odd.
Here's what I do. And here's what I would do, because this is everybody right now, or a lot of people right now. They've got, if you've ever gone back and you're like re-going through your stuff, you're organizing, like, oh my God. Sticky note, name and phone number. I was supposed to call that person, right? Or that was an easy one. Oh my God, it just slipped through the cracks. Holy crap, right? We've got a whole list. So what you do, call them. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Steph, this is Zach over at Keller Williams, and I'll be honest with you, I'm calling to apologize. I know about 3 months ago we met at an open house. I promised to put you on some listing alerts, and I'm going back to my records. I realized I never did that. I apologize. I'm just calling to check in and see if you're still looking for homes.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
am.
brutal honesty, always.
Yeah,
Yep.
just straight up, be honest. Just be honest, apologize. And all I'm doing is, what I'm really doing is I'm finding out, did she find something or is she still looking?
Sure.
Because if she's still looking, great. Now I have an opportunity to re-engage.
That's the worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario is to say, oh, thanks for calling. We closed on a house yesterday.
Well, at least now you know.
I'm just kidding.
Go away and take it.
Right, well, then I say this, oh, congratulations, that's awesome. Where'd you buy? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, that's very, I'm so happy to hear that. That's awesome. Hey, one of the things I do for people is always keep them up to date on the market. I love to send market statistics from time to time. Would it be okay if I sent you that information? Boom. Now I've got permission to stay in touch with her. I missed it. It's my fault, but I'm not giving up on her. I'm playing the long game. You're going in my database even though you didn't buy with me, right? Because I know your agent's probably not going to stay in touch with you. That is a fact.
Yeah.
Most agents will not stay in touch with their clients. Go ahead.
I have.
You have the list.
Yes.
Can I hold this up?
Yes, I've just started doing that.
I'm gonna blur this out so people can't start calling these numbers. No, I'm just kidding. But she has the list I was just talking about. You just go down and call them and say, hey, Zach, this is Steph. I know it's been a while since we talked. I'm just going through some follow-up. Hey, could you give me a quick update? You guys still looking? Any changes to your timeline?
Another one is like that Zillow. They have the, you know, where people have called in or whatever.
That's a good pipeline. That's huge.
Yeah.
Make those
and then
phone calls
it says
today.
like, you know, I'm just, you know, some of them you don't have their phone numbers anymore or whatever.
Yeah.
But I started writing down everything, what they were approved for at the time, what they were looking for, things like that. But yes, to actually do the conversion, putting it, I need to see it, and I need something that I need to be able to go back on. It's like, oh, who wanted a place in Decorah?
Right.
Oh yeah, this might work for them or whatever.
Hey Bob, this is Zach. I know we met a couple months ago at an open and you mentioned you're looking at homes in Decorah. I'm calling you because we just had a phenomenal property come on the market. Wanted to run it past you, see if you might be interested in taking a look at it. That's an easy one. Hey, so-and-so, this is Zach over at Keller Williams. I know we met a while ago. I'm just going through some of my old notes, catching up with people. I noticed that when we last talked, you said that you were looking to stay at about that 250 or below. Just seeing if you've had any changes there, if you're still looking. It's easy. It's easy. You just gotta make the call. Just call it what it is, right? Does that happen? It happens all the time. Or you kill them with kindness. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you slipped through the cracks. I apologize. I'm calling to make sure that you got taken care of or see if there's still anything else that you need.
Do you leave a message? So many times people don't answer.
So you can be tricky about that. If people don't answer, you can leave what I like to call an email or an intriguing voicemail. Hey Cindy, sorry I missed you. This is Zach. I just something exciting I gotta tell you. Please give me a call back when you get a chance. Or hey, Cindy, this is Zach. Just calling you quick. I'm super excited. A phenomenal property just came on the market that fits everything you're looking for. Give me a call. I'd love to get you inside if you're interested. Yeah. Hey Brad, this is Zach calling. I know that you've been toying with the idea of buying. I'm just calling. There's talk of maybe some changes going on with interest rates. The housing market's going up. Give me a call back. I'd love to get you up to date and see if, you know, blah, 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 blah. Leave an enticing voicemail that's not just, you know, hey, this is Zach, just calling to follow up. Hope all is well. Go Vikings. Right? You're not going to get a phone call back. ask a question, leave, offer some item of value, do something enticing that gives them, or by the way, send that in a text. You will get a response. If you ask somebody a question in a text, especially if you kind of know them, they will almost always respond in some capacity, right? So sometimes what I'll do, especially if we've got them on listing alerts and I can see they're constantly looking at a particular property where they have favorited it, I'll say, hey, Cindy, looks like the property on 123 Main Street has caught your eye. Would you like to see it? What do you think they text back? Yes. As a matter of fact, I would. Great. How about tomorrow at this time? Awesome. We've re-engaged. I've got you back in the mix, right? You just got to offer stuff and ask questions to get them to kind of respond back to you. Don't get me wrong. The calls and leaving some kind of voicemail is better than nothing. But if we're a little bit more strategic about it, we can sometimes increase our chances of getting them to reach back out or re-engage with us. It's all about that cultivated portion of that slide.
It's fake like a car accident, then they'd be worried
Yeah,
about it,
right.
and then they cut it.
I want to call you and tell you something extremely. Right, exactly. And then the cop showed up.
Yeah, right.
Well, we got a phone call from Cindy. She was worried about you. I just wanted to sell her house.
I think you guys.
Yeah. There you go, Brad. Now we're taking it to a whole new level. Yeah. Crime is rough in this neighborhood. Have you thought about moving? All right, number 1, capture. This is on page 18. The goal of building a database is to capture as many habit Mets as possible, turn them into Mets quickly, and then turn Mets into repeat referral business. One of the best ways to do that is leverage the Mets through prospecting, right? You put them into your database, whether it's an Excel, eEdge, etc. It lets you look at them, organize them, categorize them, put notes in there, set up reminders to re-engage them in the future, or alerts, and then also automate some of that.
I think his numbers are off by.
Yeah. Armin,
By one number.
I
It's
found
17 on mine.
You guys are on page 17?
Yeah.
Okay. So do me a favor, anytime I say a page number, subtract 1. Thanks for telling me though. On page 18, I'm hoping it says number 2, connect.
It does.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir.
Can I just back you up a little bit here?
No, go ahead. Please.
Okay, so you said on eEdge we can put these Mets and then it'll send you reminders.
Yeah, so in eEdge, you can put all your contacts and everybody in eEdge, and you can click alerts, and you can set an alert in the future, so that when you log in or it'll send you an email, hey, Steph, you're supposed to call such and such today. And you can put some notes in there.
Specifically how
You stick around afterward, I'll show you.
I'm closing.
What time?
One.
Where?
Yes,
We'll have time, we're done at noon.
we will.
Have
Okay.
plenty of time. Was that your only question?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Very good. Page 18, number 2, connect. Successful real estate agents understand how important it is to connect with people and refine the skill by doing it often and consistently. But it's not only connecting, you got to connect and then you've got to stay connected. That's been one of my biggest failures in the business is I can meet people and we can have a great connection, but then I'm off and doing other stuff and I failed to stay connected, right? That's even more critical. What's more critical than making the connection is staying connected, right? That's open houses in a nutshell. You can hold an open, connect with a ton of people, and that effort is almost completely wasted if you didn't capture their information and stay connected with them, right? Completely wasted. If you poll people that found agents at open houses, and I was asking this question, I'll ask people, hey, how'd you find the agent that you worked with? I found him at an open house. Great. What is it about the agent that you found at an open house that led to you actually doing business with them? Well, they followed up with me. Well, how many other agents did you meet? Oh, I met a ton. And you worked with me? Well, they're the only one that ever followed up with me. You got to connect and stay connected. That's crucial. That's the follow-up portion of lead generation. You know, lead generation allows you to identify your opportunities. Lead follow-up allows you to actually realize those opportunities and turn it into something, right?
Do you have like a login at these open houses or like a?
I'll give you the script I use. It usually sounds like this. Cindy, I'm holding the home open. You just walked in the door. I'm gonna say this, okay? Hey, how are you?
I'm great.
I'm Zach. What's your name?
Cindy.
Cindy, welcome. Thanks for coming on over. Here's a flyer with a bunch of information about the property. Feel free to have a look around. If you have any questions, just let me know. Okay. I introduced. I disarmed. I'm just gonna let her walk around. right? Because right away she's like, okay, thank God, this isn't one of those weird agents gonna follow me around the house, right? It's not like that Brad guy I just met. I'm just kidding. So then I will position myself somewhere else in the home that she's gonna have to walk by me again, usually the kitchen. Right? So now Cindy, you're walking by me. Say, so Cindy, how long have you been looking at homes?
Oh, a couple of months now.
Okay, awesome. And are you looking just in Rochester, or what areas are you considering?
Yeah, just Rochester.
Okay, and what is it that you're looking for?
A 2-story, under 200,000.
Okay, awesome. Well, Cindy, here's what I'd love to do. I would love to kind of take some of that criteria you just shared with me and basically go into the MLS system, which allows us to pull the most accurately, timely information about homes for sale, and make it so that anytime a property comes on the market for sale, that you automatically get notified about it, so that you have very timely information in the stock market. Would that be helpful for you?
It would, yeah.
Awesome. What's your email address so I can send those to you? And while you're at it, what's your phone number? What?
No, I'm just.
Oh, I don't do forced registration. Now, if you ask a few other agents, some of them might do it, and they might succeed or have a lot of success doing that too. Do whatever you're most comfortable with. I don't like saying, hi, how are you? Please sign in. I don't like the tone that sets from day one. I just don't like that. I would rather build rapport, offer the item of value, and then capture the info. Or I might say, Cindy, my God, my open goes till 3. I know of a home. If this home isn't doing it for you, I know of another home that it matches exactly what you just described. I can get you in that property at 3:15 when I'm done here. Would that work for you?
Yes.
You get people excited about that.
Mhm.
Get them on that showing. Then on that showing, what script do you think I'm going to use? My consultation script.
What if the open's really active and really busy? And
Great question. I love that question because we've all been there before. We're holding it open. It's so busy. You've got so many people coming through, or you've got that one annoying person that just won't stop talking to you that said, oh, we're just out looking, Lewin. We're not going to do anything. Like, great, quit talking to me. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Right?
Fish are biting, you should be done.
Right. We're just nosy neighbors. Well, I want to talk to the people that are going to buy something, right? So if I don't have that, what I will at least do is I'll try to catch them real quick. Say, hey, Cindy, just wanted to say thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate it. By the way, if you get to the point where you're interviewing agents to help you, here's my card. I would absolutely love to apply for the job and take great care of you. I call that my Hail Mary script. That's my Stephon Diggs downfield, Hail Mary. If I say that enough, I'm putting it out there. Here's my card. That will get you business. That will get you. And by the way, I'll use that in happy hours, whatever. If I'm just power networking, or I've got to go, or I just met with somebody, I'm like, hey, Steph, by the way, hey, it was really great to meet you. I hope your business does well this year. Here's my card. If you ever come across folks that could use my help, please send them my way. I promise to take great care of it. I'll do the same for you, by the way. Have a good one. Right? It's that easy. So when I'm in busy open houses, that's what I'll do, because I just ask them, hey, here's the, or by the, Cindy, it was great to meet you. Hey, do you have an agent already?
No, I don't.
Okay, awesome. Well, I won't pester you. I know you're on the way out. Here's my card. I'd love to be your agent. Give me a call if you need help.
Have you ever done an open house on, say, for sale by owner, but you don't have a listing? Just talk to them and say, listen, I just want to use your property for a month's business. Maybe I'll help you, maybe I'll help you.
I've heard of people doing that. I myself personally have not done that.
Does it work?
I would say I certainly think it could. I certainly think it
It's
could.
not illegal, or?
It's definitely not illegal.
Okay.
If the for sale by owner is cool with you doing that, knock yourself out. I would be very prepared to answer some questions you might give. Oh, are you the listing agent? Do you represent the seller?
Sure.
Be prepared to answer those kind of questions, which there are easy answers to those questions,
Well,
right?
just a friend, help them out.
Right. Well, and if they allow you to do it, I would make sure first and foremost that they'll pay you a buyer agent commission, right?
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's any open house is an opportunity to pick up clients, right?
Well, I keep hearing it over and over, open house, open house.
Yeah.
It's a good way to.
Because here's the deal: if I asked you, how could you very quickly find a bunch of people that are interested in doing a real estate transaction in the near future, where would you go? What's one of your easiest answers? Open house. Open houses are literally gatherings or congregations of people that are looking to do something real estate
No, I
related
get it.
or are
I'm
interested.
doing the business. I don't have a listing
No.
right now, but.
Other agents. Talk to Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not necessarily your own.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Talk to anybody here. Raise your hand if
One
you.
tomorrow for Melissa.
Absolutely. If our company has got a listing, You can hold that sucker open all day long, and you pick up the buy. If you pick up the buyers from it, they're your buyers.
I got it.
Yeah. So talk to Sue about that.
Oh,
Now I feel like an epic failure because I should have made that clear to you sooner.
for some reason I thought I needed to, why wouldn't you have your own, why wouldn't you have your own open house?
I tell you right now, because I don't need to.
Okay.
You know, it's honestly that I said that kind of jokingly, but you'll get to some agents where they do nothing. The last thing they want to do is hold an open house.
Sure,
My
I
God,
get it.
that sounds terrible, especially this time of year.
Sure.
But you've got other people like, hey, I'll do that all day long.
Sure.
Right? Or some people just really stink at open houses. So like, hey, I've done them before. I don't yield good results. If somebody else wants to hold it open, knock yourself out, but it's just not my cup of tea. Or hey, the Vikings are playing Sunday. I want to watch that. If you want to hold it open, knock yourself out.
And it just builds really good rapport if you're the listing agent to your seller that your home is being marketed to other agents.
And it's open houses are a great place to begin to master your scripts. Because you're talking with so many different people about so many different things. You can try out your scripts and see how it goes. I remember like the first few times, I'm like, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna see what happens. And I would throw it out there and it would work. And I'd be like, this is amazing, right? And then I just was like, boom, okay, now I'm just gonna keep doing it every time. Now it's just like a no-brainer. Now I would feel weird if I was having a conversation with somebody and I didn't work in some sort of referral script or asking for their business. The script I just shared with you is by far the easiest script ever. Just to say, hey, here's the deal. If and when you do go to use an agent, I'd love to apply for the job. Keep me in mind. If I've got a contractor that does phenomenal work for me, or one of my clients or something, I'll say, here's the deal. Let's pretend you're an HVAC professional. You come out, hey, Steph, thank you so much for coming out and meeting us at this property on such short notice. You're really gonna help us keep this inspection together. I appreciate it. Here's my card. If I could ever return the favor, please let me know. I'd be happy to take great care of you or anybody that you know. I made that sound like I was offering her a gift, right? When in reality, I'm trying to elicit business. I'm saying, hey, thank you. You did such a phenomenal job. We really appreciate it. If I can ever return the favor in any way, please give me a call. Here's my card. Love to help you or anybody that you know, right? How are we being purposeful in all the interactions that we're having with people? You could probably have between now and you getting home, you could probably use that kind of script with somebody at least 2 or 3 times between now and getting home today, right? I'll do that to waiters or waitresses sometimes, not quite like that, but like, or sometimes like I'll sign my receipt and I'll just leave my card in there, you know, when I'm paying. That's cool. Or if I think that they've done a really good job, you know, I might say, hey, have you ever considered a career in real estate? You did a phenomenal job. That was great customer service. Plant a seed that way too. Page 18. One of the best ways to connect is with questions. If you notice, most of the scenarios I'm in, I ask them 1 or 2 questions first because that gets them talking about themselves. When somebody's talking about themselves, people love to talk about themselves. Yeah, it just begins good rapport, good feelings, etc. There's some great connecting questions. Would you please tell me a little bit about your family, your job, etc.? What is it that you're looking for? What do you want to do? Where would you like to buy? Where's your home located? Why are you moving? When would you like to do this by? Sometimes I'll just ask people, what's your timeline? Or here's another way I phrase it. In a perfect world, if everything worked out magically, when would you like to be in your new home? How do you plan to do this? These are all great questions that really kind of get the ball rolling, get the conversation going, and then then I would lead it into the consultation script.
My favorite question is, are you from the area?
Yeah.
Because it leads to some, if it's family or they're not, it leads to so many other, I get such a great.
Yeah. Well, no, we're not actually. Oh my gosh, where are you from?
Yeah.
Oh, now you're just building rapport. Now you're just building rapport. Absolutely. That's one of the reasons why I like to ask, you know, okay, so, you know, where are you looking? What areas are you considering? Because now it's some of the same thing. Oh, awesome. You know, what is it that you love about that city? Or, oh my gosh, yeah, I live there too. You know, blah, 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 blah. Just some rapport building. Page 19, close. Closing is the process of asking for business. I would underline asking for business. That's what we need to do, but most agents ever rarely actually do. We don't ask for business. We simply wear a sign that says we're a realtor and make the assumption that people will call us. Well, here's the deal. I've been licensed for 12 months and I haven't done any business. Oh my gosh. What kind of lead generation are you doing? Well, hey man, I made a Facebook post as soon as I got my license and let the world know. I don't know what my problem is. Well, you're not doing lead generation, right? We're not in the lead receiving business. If you do a great job lead generating, well, then you start to benefit from some lead receiving, but you have to be out there asking for business and generating, right? Connecting is crucial, but unless you get their business, you won't make any money. Many agents are very successful at connecting. So I just told you about myself. You can connect, but it's asking for business that's so challenging, or the follow-up, right? Your goal for the call or in conversation is to close for at least one of the following: an appointment, a referral, or some sort of reciprocal connection. A hard close. Great, let's meet. That's pretty easy, right? That works for a lot of people, actually. The soft close. Hey, I've really enjoyed visiting with you. When would you like to get together to discuss this further? Maybe help you formulate a game plan that would allow you to be successful. Can we meet today, or would tomorrow be better? Would it be okay if I got you some information to look over and then we can meet to discuss? Hey, here's the deal. Thanks for coming through my open house. I know it's a real challenge to find great properties right now. I keep a hot sheet at my office of all the great properties and maybe even some up-and-coming properties. If you're willing to meet, come in the office, have a consultation. One of the things we'll do is we'll go over that sheet for you. See if there's any properties on there that catch your attention. The trial close. I think you would agree that we've gone over enough today that meeting would be our next step. Or basically say, hey, here's the deal. I think I have a good understanding for what it is you're looking to do. Here's what I think we should do. Let's meet at my office sometime this week and have a conversation that allows us to come up with a game plan that will help you to succeed. Would that be helpful? And that's like putting a little bit more of a direct approach to that script. Yeah, here's the deal, Cindy. We've been visiting for a few minutes at this open. I've got a real good idea what it is you're looking for. I think what would be helpful for you next is this. Let's meet at my office. We'll come up with a game plan for you, blah, 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 right? Could you do that? I kind of like that now that I think about it a little bit more, because it's a little bit more, hey, let's make this happen, right? And some people respond very well to that. Deceptive close, or you could say this: it sounds like we should meet. I'm available most times this week. What works best for you? Hey, would you be offended if we could meet and go over this? This is actually good, and I've used this before, the would you be offended if script, because again, you can't say no to it. Hey, here's the deal. Here's what I'd love to do. Would you be offended if I offered you a great consultation that would help you formulate a game plan that would allow you to succeed? It's the dumbest question ever, but it works, right? It's so stupid. Would you be offended if? Well, of course not. It's super stupid. But they get them to say yes. Hey, here's the deal. Cindy, you just described to me all your criteria for a property. I've got access to the MLS. I can pull all the properties that match that criteria. Would you be offended if I put you on an alert that instantaneously sent you that information?
Yes. Oh, no, that would be great.
Fantastic. I just got her to agree by asking a stupid question. Would you be offended if I sent you all that valuable information? Well, no, absolutely not. That's a dumb question. Right? They're not going to say that. So great, here's your contact. Can I get your contact information? The take-back close. I've really enjoyed visiting with you. To be honest, I'm not sure if I can be of help or not, but I'd be honored if we could meet to find out. That's like the most non-threatening.
I'm negative.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure that's how I found my wife. No, I'm just kidding. Here's the deal. I like you. You look kind of nice. I'm not sure if we can make this happen, but why don't we go on a date and find out? Right now, I'm just kidding.
Don't want to offend you.
Yeah, I don't want to offend you, but I'll wait till the third date to do that. Just kidding. But that's a good one though. Because it's super non-committal, right? Which makes it easy for some people. So now, here's the deal, Steph. I understand what you're looking for. To be honest with you, I'm not sure I'll be able to help you find exactly that, but here's what we can do. Why don't you come in, we'll have a consultation, we'll look at all of our options. Maybe we'll find something and we'll help you put together a plan that will allow you to be successful. Would that work for you? Boom. Boom. It's just knowing these scripts and knowing at what point in the conversation to throw it out there. Right? And honestly, it doesn't take long to get there. Some people, they get way too far in the weeds. Way too far in the weeds, right? We don't have time for that. Let's set a consultation, right? Because if I'm at an open house and I got several people to talk to, I want to get them all. I want to talk to all of them, hopefully, right? Or whatever the situation may be. The tie down. Wouldn't it make sense for us to meet the next day or so? Hey, Bob, here's the deal. If you're looking to buy a house in the next few months, wouldn't it make sense to come in for a consultation and figure out all your options, learn a little bit about the market, and have your questions answered? Probably. Well, that sounds good. Why don't we do that? Come on in. Right? Again, these are so strategic because they're asking questions in a way that people kind of have to agree with or take in upon, right? The alternative choice close. What works better for you? Meeting today, sometime this afternoon, or tomorrow? Basically just giving them some options. So they don't feel like, oh my gosh, I have to drop everything and go right now. No, hey, what works for you? We can do tomorrow, we can do next week. Let me know. Okay, cultivate, page 20. This talks a little bit more about the EN stuff, Steph, that you mentioned. I should probably make sure I'm still on the camera here. Whether or not you have closed for an appointment or gotten a referral, once a connection has been made, it can always be strengthened. It's an ongoing process. Man, the more I read this stuff, the more I realize how much of it is ingrained in my head. Because I think I'm just coming up with such good stuff.
Yeah.
It's about strengthening my relationship. This is great. Page 20. It's about strengthening. Okay, I've heard this before. The relationship established here will continue to build as you keep in touch and perhaps eventually do business together or with somebody that they know. And you want the relationship to keep building. People who like you will do business with you and refer you more business. Set your contacts up on a campaign in eEdge. It will help you cultivate. If I meet somebody at an open and I can tell they're pretty motivated about buying, you're going on an 8x8 buyer campaign. It's going to be a little bit more communicative in a shorter period of time versus a 33 touch, right? I might put you on an 8x8 and then transition you to a 33 touch, or if I meet you at a networking event and we just have a, hey, you know, it'd be great to do business with you type of conversation, send people my way, I'm gonna put you on a 33 touch, which is just monthly newsletter, just holiday emails, things that are designed to remind you I'm in the business. That's the whole purpose of it, right? So as I'm building my database, ideally I should be putting people on some sort of campaign in there too, which automates the cultivate part of this diagram, right?
So is there, okay, so when you're talking about that, is there like an email? Is there there's some way that we can send out something, but how you have an app or a website or something that helps with that?
I will show you that. No, it's all EDge. It's all in the back end of Keller Williams. Yeah. It's okay. Some of us are resistant to technology. That's okay. I meet you. I capture your info. We have a great connection. Awesome. I put you into my database, and I let my database system cultivate the relationship for me. Now, if you can only do that, that's better than nothing. You know, automate the cultivation. If you want to enhance it or you want to take it up a notch, you want to see more results, you let the system do a lot of the automation in terms of some email, but then you're also calling it at least at a minimum once a quarter. Right? Those phone calls, you need to do them to enhance the cultivation. And if you're really good, you're doing some sort of events on a regular basis that you're offering to people in front of them too. Right? That's the whole thing. We meet, capture, connect, cultivate through that system that does it for us. And by the way, if they interact with it, it alerts us so we know we can respond to questions, whatever. Part of cultivating might be putting them on listing alerts as well, right? Checking in with them, follow-up phone calls, all that fun stuff to ultimately close it. Be sure to use the information you gain about them, their wants and needs to enrich your future touches by sharing information they will appreciate. Basically, share relevant information, right? Share relevant info. If I have a conversation with Ben, he says he's thinking about buying a home, am I going to put him on a list with me campaign? No, that's not relevant. It doesn't make sense, right? Unless he needs to sell before he can buy. But if he's a first-time home buyer, I'm not going to put you on a list with me campaign. That makes no sense. That's not meeting his needs. His needs is the buy campaign. You need to put on the buyer, pre-approval information, home buying information, information about home inspections, right? Stuff like that. Page 22, your sphere of influence. Your sphere of influence is essentially your database. But you might not have taken the time yet to go through your entire sphere of influence, get all their contact information, and put it into a database. That's step one if you haven't done it. Gather all that info. I mean, Brad literally spent like 2 weeks doing this. He gathered all this information, he put it into a spreadsheet, but now he's got it, he can execute it, put everybody on a system of cultivation that will do it for him on a regular basis. Think of the people closest to you as the inner circle, your sphere of influence. They're your biggest champions. They already know you, like you, trust you, respect you. So, like I said before, regardless of what company you're at, they will likely do business with you, right? If you're staying top of mind and engaging them and asking them for business or letting them know that you desire to do business with them. Therefore, they're likely to be willing to help you because, after all, people like to do business with people they know, trust, and respect. Your inner circle is a group of people you'll look to most often and reward most often, legally, for help and support in referring business your way. In fact, the majority of your business during your first year of real estate will most likely originate from your inner circle. It's only natural that your sphere is the place where you'll begin to find leads. Page 23, a great exercise. I'm going to have you do this outside of class. Write down as many names as you can for each category. Even if you only know someone's first or last name, write it down. Then your job is going to be to go hunt down that contact information, or even reach out to them and start using some of the scripts. Get the contact info, get them in your database, make the phone calls, etc. Let me tell you this, it's a lot easier if you at least make a phone call first, have a conversation with them, even if it's a, hey, I'm doing a real estate conversation. That's helpful if you do that first before they start getting emails from you, right? It's like, oh, well, now it makes sense versus just random email showing up in their inbox, right?
What if you already email them pretty regularly?
That's fine. Time blocking with the 3-3. This is on page 24. Prospect efficiently and consistently with the 3 processes in your 3 hours of daily lead generation. Yep, Ideally, you're doing 3 hours of lead gen every day, well, Monday through Friday, at a minimum. As a new agent, you should spend more than 3 hours doing this, right? Number 1, prepare. Prep your call list. Say affirmations. Focus on your big why. Practice your scripts. Prep your call list. Practice your scripts. Number 2, take action. Do the prospecting. Update your database as you go along. Add notes to it. Number 3, maintain track results. Schedule your commitments or appointments and write thank you notes. Page 25, prepare. Prep your call list. If you see that, it gives you a bunch of different examples of where you might pull information, or excuse me, where you might pull people that you would call from. Referrals, Sphere for sale by owners, leads that come in from sign calls or websites, past clients, allied resources, etc. Right? Prep your call list. Sometimes it's helpful if you say, today I'm going to call allied resources, and those are the people you focus on. You're going to be using the same script every time, versus jumping from this script to this script to this script. You know, maybe you can focus on one area and then switch and focus on another one. Number 2, take action, or excuse me, rehearse the scripts. That's very, very helpful. If you go into it dry, it's going to be some of that tongue twisting type stuff, this or that. Just practice it a couple of times. Call me if you need to, and practice it on me, and then start calling your people. Number 2, take action. It's prospecting time. Approximately 2 of the 3 hours is spent making connections, building relationships, and asking for business. Get your database and start calling. Update your database with each phone call. I like to keep a record of the last time I talked with them, and maybe even what we talked about, so that if I call them again, it's a few months later, I can reference that, right? Or if they call in to us, I can track. Okay, when's the last time we had a conversation? When's the last time we talked? What was it about?
That's where you keep that.
In your notes in EDGE, you're going to learn a bunch of stuff after this. Yeah.
I gotta eat too.
Oh, okay. Well, get on your phone, order some Jimmy John's, they deliver. Freaky fast. Maintain. Follow-up time. Approximately 30 minutes of your daily 3-3 should be spent on wrapping up your lead generation with some methodical follow-up. Enter results in the database, follow-up notes, track results, etc., etc. So your 3 hours, yeah, great. Spend at least 2 trying to generate new leads, and then spend that 3rd hour doing all the follow-up phone calls that you need to be doing from the lead generation you did before, or from the appointments that you've had with people, or to say, hey, you know, are there any homes we need to start scheduling showings for? Those kind of conversations, right? Prospecting opportunities, look at page 27, prospecting sources, door knocking, geographic farming, for sale by owners, expires or withdrawals, open houses, agent referrals, social media. Your database is obviously one of them, right? That's part of your referral phone calls. But that's just a list of a few of the many prospecting sources that you can choose to focus on initially. Door knocking. Boom, here's some thoughts on that. Don't be pushy, come from contribution, let people know what's happening in the area. Ask for business, offer advice, provide marketing information. Did you know homes in your neighborhood are selling for less than 30 days? This kind of gets back to the text that Brad said he got earlier. Hey, did you know that people are selling for top dollar in your neighborhood? I'm just coming by and letting people know what's going on in the housing market. I like the idea of pairing it up with something like a food drive or a clothing drive, right? Or your door knocking to let people know about your open house, to drive traffic there, right? If your door, just like your events or your calls, Brad, when you're calling for a reason, if you're door knocking for a reason, yeah, it's just a little easier. Right? Or sometimes people overthink it. Again, it's a numbers game, right? I know if I knock on enough doors and say, hey, hi, I'm Zach with Keller Williams. I'm just canvassing the neighborhood to see if anybody has any real estate needs. Is that a magical script? That's literally what I'm doing. I'm not overthinking this. Hey, how are you? My name is Zach. I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams, just canvassing the neighborhood to see if anybody has any real estate needs. Most people, a lot of people aren't going to answer. Everybody says, hey, no thanks. Okay, awesome. Every once in a while, you're going to run into the person that says, yeah, actually, we've been thinking about selling. We've been, okay, great. Boom, now we need to stop and have a conversation, right? Or you might get some chatty Cathys that love when people visit. You say, awesome, well, great. How long have you lived here? Have you ever thought about selling? No, okay, that's cool. Do you know of anybody else in the neighborhood that has maybe been thinking about selling? Blah, 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 blah. Great, awesome. Anybody come to mind that can maybe help with some real estate needs? You know, just all your same scripts, just throw them out there, right? You're either going to swing or miss. You just go to the next one, right? It's fairly easy to do. We just overthink it sometimes, or we're too afraid that people are going to open the door and they're going to punch us in the face. Right? That's only happened to me once. No, I'm just kidding. For sale by owners, there's all kinds of scripts in here that you can utilize with for sale by owners. Some of them are, I'll let you work through these, because what you're going to find about the for sale by owner scripts in particular, and the same as with expireds, is you're going to read them and you're going to want to tweak them to you. Because sometimes you'll go through and be like, ooh, I don't know if I would say that, or that maybe that's not my thing. And what we would tell you is do the script, trust it. We know it works. We know it works. Use it the way it is. But I also know there's some people that they're just like, no, man, I've got to tweak it. If that's you, then tweak it. Do whatever's comfortable. The bottom line is say something that's in line with that script, right? Good morning. My name is Zach with Keller Williams. I notice your home's for sale. As a real estate customer service expert, I like to keep up with the inventory in the area so I know what kind of buyers to bring. Would you be offended if I came over to view your home? I promise I won't ask for your listing. The reason for my call is not to list your home. I'd simply like to put you on my for sale by owner inventory list. Would today at 3 p.m. or tomorrow at 1 p.m. be better for you? Well, what's a for sale by owner inventory list? Well, here's the deal. I work with tons of buyers, and I like to be able to educate them or share with them all the options out there. Your home is obviously one of them. It's not showing up in a lot of places because it's for sale by owner, so they might miss it. So I'd like to come by and take a peek at it to make sure I can share it with them to see if it's a home that would be of interest to them, right? Go slowly at first. Your goal is only to see their home and then kind of take it up a notch. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, thank you so much for allowing me to view your home today. Would you mind just showing me around and point out a few of the features? Awesome. Where are you going next? When do you need to be there by? Thank you so much for showing me your lovely home. I want to wish you the best of luck. I have just a quick market report on Rochester. It might help you sell your home a little bit more. I'd be happy to drop it off because I'm hoping for a win-win here. I can provide you with information to help you sell, and I hope that in return, you will refer any buyers not interested in your home to me. Is there anything else I can do to help? Or, I want to make this a win-win. I would love for you to sell your home because I would love to be the agent to help you buy your next home. I don't charge anything to do that. Right? We look at for sale by owners, and we think that we have to get the listing. That would be great. But if they're selling, there's a good chance they might also be doing what? Buying. And hey, by the way, we do that for free. Offer to be their buyer agent. That's pretty easy to do, right? Win their trust by being a resource. Yep, you can continue to offer them some things. You can focus on saving money, focus on saving time, all that stuff that over time, if a for sale by owner does not experience success, it really just becomes painful for them, right? You can start kind of honing in on that, saying, hey, here's the deal. I know you've had this thing listed for a few weeks. I'm sure you're probably getting tired of all the phone calls that are bugging you or having to try to open houses or show it and not getting any results. I can take all that off your plate for you. Let's meet. I can talk to you about what I do to sell homes. Even if you don't agree to it, that's fine with me. Let me at least educate you about how I might be able to help. Right, that's kind of that. I don't know if I'll be able to help you script, but why don't we let's at least see if it makes sense, and if not, no big deal. Right? Expired or canceled listings, it's very similar. Open houses, we've already kind of beat to death. Agent referrals, that's pretty easy. If you're down here in Rochester, La Crosse, Waukon, wherever, there's no reason why you can't email other real estate agents at any company. Say, hey, just to let you know, if you're ever looking to, if you ever come across people that are moving to La Crosse, Waukon, Rochester, whatever, I'd love to take great care of them. I'll pay you a 25% referral fee. Just keep me in mind. You can build your business on that alone. Especially, you guys are all in a good position because you've got the Twin Cities, which is a big market. There's a lot of agents up there. And how often do you think we come across people that are maybe moving to Rochester, for example, or La Crosse? Not so much Waukon. Maybe Decorah. All the time. I guarantee you there's literally conversations going on right now, this second, in the Twin Cities. People are talking about how they have to move to Rochester. You want to be the agent that every other agent in the Twin Cities thinks of when they think of Rochester. Because you're going to be the one and only person they call. They get referrals, and they know they're going to get paid. They will call you every single time. You'll be the person they're sending business to. That's how Debbie Benson in her office, she goes to every training in the Twin Cities. And anytime, if I'm ever at a Keller Williams event and I hear people talking about blah, 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 Rochester, whose name do you think I always hear come up? Debbie's, because she's been up there, she's met them. They're like, she's the only agent from Rochester they've met in person. So who do you think their national referral person is? For Rochester, right? So apply the same mentality to your business wherever you are, right? And then agents outside the state, they just need to know you're their Minnesota guy, or their Wisconsin person, or their Iowa person, right? And if they call you first, that's fine. They might call me and say it's for Duluth, and I'm gonna say, good Lord, I'm not going up there. But I want them to call me first because I want to screen it. Maybe it's an area I do service. If it doesn't, hey, you know what? That's actually about 3 hours from me. Let me put you in touch with a great business partner of mine that I know would take great care of you. Call Brad. Brad, this is Zach. You know, the dude you refer everything to down in the Twin Cities. I'm sending you somebody that got somebody looking to refer to Duluth. I'm gonna put you in touch with them. By the way, any of those other Twin City referrals come up, you know who to contact, right? Very good. Then social media. Here's my advice to you on social media. Friend me on Facebook if we're not friends already, and just do what I do. If you do what I do on Facebook alone, you'll get people contacting you. Pictures, closing pictures with clients, videos, events, all that fun stuff. It just reminds people you're in the business. More people reach out to me via Facebook Messenger than any other means of communication. Really, by far more than any. It sounds like this, but hey Zach, we're looking to buy or sell. Would you be interested in helping us? Yes, my God, I would. Yes, please. When can we meet? Right? No, it's great. Hey, awesome. Would love to. Thank you. I always say this. Thank you so much for even thinking of us. What's your email address? Then I take it over to email and I set a consultation. Right? I don't have to make a phone call to set the consult. I just email and set the consult. Right? Or it sounds like this. Hey Zach, my brother's looking to do something. We're gonna buy a house. Would you mind helping? Absolutely, my God, come on down. Right? It's just natural because Facebook helps us do what?
Touch.
Helps us maintain the relationship. Facebook is by far, it's the easiest, cheapest leverage for me to maintain relationships with as many people as possible. I could do it on Facebook. So I can make a post and hundreds of people will likely see it. And all it does is help me maintain a relationship or remind them that I'm in real estate. It's the whole purpose. There's no other means of media out there that I know of that I use as effectively to, in an instant, remind hundreds of people that I'm in real estate. And oh, by the way, it's relevant because these people know me already. It's not hundreds of random people that aren't going to think twice about it. It's hundreds of people that are some of them I've already done business with. Many of them I know very, very well. It's the easiest platform. And when you're doing that and you're liking and commenting on something, it's only natural that they're going to message you if and when that need arises.
So you have a business page up to your personal page?
I've got a business page, but I'm telling you, business pages are crap for real estate purposes. Just my humble opinion. You probably have other people tell you otherwise, and it works well for them. And I know this because I set up my business page and I made that my focus. People don't care about that. People are on Facebook to interact with you, creep on you, look at your pictures, blah, 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 right? That's what it's all about. They're not going to be like, oh, I need to go to Zach's business page and do X, Y. No, because I know Zach. I'm going to message Zach.
So you do it on your personal? And
Everything's personal.
You put your business.
Every
You are?
Yes, but my business stuff is not really business. It's more personal in nature. Every once in a while, we might make a post to our business page. That's very business. It might be a market statistic or something like that. All the boring crap people don't want to see on Facebook, right? The stuff I'm doing on my personal page is having fun with clients, taking pictures with them, congratulating them, taking pictures at events, always with kids because people love kids, right? It's that kind of stuff. It's not the
intermingled.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the salesy in your face stuff, right?
So they don't delete you. If it's just.
Or unfollow you.
If it's always.
Well, my problem is I don't mind throwing some pictures, post of it, but somebody keeps telling me I just got out of the shower or I just got.
Yeah.
I'm not going to respond to all that stuff.
Right.
I just don't do it.
Absolutely.
Do I have to?
Not that kind of stuff. Please don't post pictures of you getting out of the shower.
No, I'm not.
You're gonna get some clients. I don't know if you're gonna want them or not.
I do it, but I mean, people are posting just really.
I know what you're saying.
And I don't keep up with it. I don't.
Here's what I focus on. First off, what do people engage with the most?
Family, kids, but I find.
People engage with videos and pictures and videos. And it's about animals. It's about kids. It's about food. It's about that kind of stuff. And if you're anything like me, make it humorous. If you add some humor to it, it's probably one of the best things you can do.
Okay,
So if you check my Facebook, you'll find business related type stuff intermixed with like videos or pictures of my daughter and stuff like that, right? Fun things that we might be out and about doing. Nothing crazy, nothing that says something like interested in buying or selling a house? Call me today. But that's what people will do. There's nothing wrong with that, but your engagement's not gonna be there. People are gonna unfollow you or just block you, or they're not gonna want you in their newsfeed.
So when I post a picture, I get all these responses.
Yeah.
I love the picture.
Absolutely.
But I'm not reciprocal. So I don't get on there very often. I do. So am I doing a disservice to them? And like, well, this guy's a dick.
I mean,
No.
you run your.
Unless they type
Everybody
it.
responds to that.
And I'm not doing business stuff. I'm just, my kids or whatever.
Yeah,
But I'm not saying stuff about their kids necessarily. Or when they post pictures, I'm not very.
That's fine. We talked about this earlier. Some people are narcissists. I'm just kidding. No.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's about what I do.
Post your stuff. Here's what I do. My strategy is this. Every morning, I'll log in and I'll say my happy birthdays to the people whose birthday it is. And then if I'm ever, if I'm sitting waiting to get a haircut or I'm in line or it's maybe just before bed or maybe commercials came on, I might open it up and just scroll through the newsfeed, like, comment, have fun with people, tag, post this, comment on that kind of thing, right? Just subtly over time. Or if people interact with my stuff, I might comment back and stuff like that. So sometimes you gotta be a little bit purposeful about it because for me, it is a little bit of work. I'm working. That's work for sure. If somebody has a baby, oh my gosh, congratulations. We're so happy for you. They got engaged. Oh my God, that's amazing. I love commenting on life events because those kind of life events usually trigger what? A real estate transaction.
Yeah.
Right? Which is an opportunity for me to help people. Right? So, no, very good. Facebook, man, I cannot tell you how much it's been an easy thing for us to utilize. Facebook and LinkedIn, especially, and then YouTube, if you're good and you don't mind doing videos, can be beneficial. And some people will tell me, oh, Facebook, that's dying. Users are plummeting left and right, or young people aren't on that anymore. I said, that's fine. How many 14-year-olds are buying homes? Cool. Go hang out on Snapchat or Instagram. You're not the demographic I'm targeting. I am targeting that demographic of people in their late 20s to somebody's grandma, right? Because those are the people doing real estate transactions. The people that I know. So that's what I'm doing.
I have a question, Larry. As far as your business page, your business Facebook page, you said it wasn't worth much, and I can see that.
I should say, I think you should have one because it's a professional thing. But what I'm telling you is to not spend a ton of time on it.
Yeah. So you have that page and it allows you to boost these other posts and to.
That can be crucial.
And otherwise you can't boost posts and do that.
That's a good point, Brad. That's a very good point. So having the business page will allow you to do do Facebook ads if you choose to do that. And we've certainly done that before.
So you could boost, I have a listing, instead of just putting it on there on my own personal page, I can boost it. And so it gets to way more people and it stays with them. And if somebody's looking at houses, it's gonna appear in front of them.
And
I don't follow, but maybe I just.
So maybe we could teach a class on that. That's maybe not a bad thing. So you can do targeted Facebook advertising, your business page. It will show up in the newsfeed on the right side. It'll say Brad Ingen, Realtor, blah, 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 blah. And it'll be a video of a home he has listed. They can click on it, see the video. It probably says, call me if you're interested, blah, 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 blah. Click here to view more homes for sale. All of a sudden, they're on your website. Who am I asking to register? Now you've captured some information of somebody you can follow up with.
They promise you to hit so many people, so many more people.
Well, and
So you're paying for this.
you control the budget and you control the demographics. I'm telling you, I might run stuff every once in a while for like $20, $25. Super cheap, great exposure.
I have people in Alabama, they like your house.
Yeah,
See,
isn't that nuts?
That's the thing though, I mean, cause I have a
But
business.
Steph, that's okay. They might be moving here from Alabama.
You know what though,
Something
I
like that.
did have a call on a property that I had listed in Spring Valley and I wasn't gonna answer the phone because it was a California number. And anyway, I did, and here, this gal bought a house I had listed in Spring Valley over
Yeah.
the phone.
Isn't that cool? But so here's the other thing too, because I always used to be leery of that as well. Be a phone number from another state, and I'm like, this is probably a sales call. Well, I answer them all the time now because oftentimes when I answer, it's an agent from another state looking to refer. I'll take that phone call.
Well, yeah, when you're in a business, you can't turn down these calls. I mean,
So what I'll do is I'll answer it, and if it's a sales call or automated call, I'll hang up and I'll just block the number. I won't have to worry about that one anymore.
Right, so then what do you think about the people that
Sorry, Cindy, I know I'm going a little bit long.
No,
We're
that's
gonna
right.
sneak out.
the people that you invite, so I invited everyone right away because you can just click that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think about the people that become like your business page? You know, that small amount of people that
Yeah.
like it or whatever amount of people. What do you think of those people? I mean,
Love them to death.
are they, do you market them differently? Do you,
Nope.
do you hold them in a different
No,
category?
I might do something. I might send him a message. Hey, Brad, thank you so much for liking my business page. I really appreciate you supporting our business. If there's anything we can ever do for you, please let us know. That's about all. Or maybe once a year, every year, I'd say, hey, I just wanted to again thank you for being somebody that supports our business, blah 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 blah. And I might communicate with them via Facebook in that way. I don't know, but I wouldn't. I would keep them in my same cultivation, same database marketing, right? But I might send them a note and say, hey, I appreciate you liking our page. Thanks for supporting us. Okay, I'll wrap it up for today. Page 39, putting it all together. We've got our action plan, right? Get out there, start utilizing these scripts when you're making your phone calls, doing your meds, etc. This will change your business. It really will. Prepare for the next class. Next class is going to be on Monday. Kelly DeMail is going to teach a class. Anybody come to her class yesterday on listing contracts? It was Bob, you were there. She does a phenomenal job, right? It's by far one of our better.
You can watch the video of it.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
She and her husband Bruce are the highest producing agents in our office. And they're going to come teach you on how to win the seller. So if you want to learn how to do listings at a high level and win sellers, I would come learn from Kelly, who does it very well, right? And she happens to be a really good instructor too, so that always helps, right?
Hopefully we don't have a snowstorm.
Yes, hope it will be recorded and all that fun stuff. So thanks very much. I'll hang around for a little bit if you've got questions. Very good to see all of you. Thank you very much for coming. And thanks to those of you that watched from at home or wherever today. I appreciate it.
It's a great class, Zach.
You're too kind. Thank you. Hey, and if you want a war game about that buyer console,